Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill. We sincerely apologize to Microsoft and Tyreek. Now, the video, which was intended to be a spoof of the video game Minecraft, revealed the team's season opening image with Miami, with an image of a dolphin wearing a number 10 jersey labeled Hill, swimming along before he stopped by a Coast Guard boat with a blaring siren. So they apologize for that one. Meanwhile, the Mariners have the day off today. They begin their series on the road in San Diego tomorrow. Just one game going on right now. Blue Jays trailing the Tampa Bay Rays in Toronto 6-2. That game in the top of the seventh. Couple of finals. Reds beat the White Sox 7-1. It was the Twins shutting out the Orioles 4-0, and the Braves take out the Nationals 5-2.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Thursday to everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a great week as we head towards the weekend, and the Mariners have the day off today. We got a lot to get into. We'll go over some of the conversations happening around the other shows. Best of the Rest coming up at 2:45. Paul Moyer will join us at 3 p.m. Luke Arkins, our buddy, talking some Mariner baseball for the first time with him this season. So that'll be fun at 4 o'clock. El Hombre, Michael Bradley, joining us at 4:30 today. He couldn't do it Tuesday. A little schedule change for him. So he'll be with us at 4:30. And then the latest edition of the Raleigh Show coming up at 5 p.m. So a lot coming your way. You guys can text in throughout the show at 866-979-3776. Lots to get into. Let's start with we touched on this yesterday, and you never know who's listening after a Mariners game, especially when they lose, Dave. I think it's just you and I talking to each other.
No, it is. And it sucks, by the way, that we don't have a game to react to tomorrow.
Yeah.
I hate it when the Mariners aren't playing.
Yeah, they're so lazy.
Yeah,
they should just play every day.
Right.
I think that's how that should go.
But the NFL provides many, many things to talk about.
The NFL always provides. And the schedule release, which has just become such a massive, massive thing. The schedule. Just the things you probably thought as a player, Dave, were just minutia, didn't give it a second thought, like, oh, that's happening, this is going, okay. They're all events. They're all events. They're televised, they're promoted, they're put on calendars for people. They can't wait, and there's a lot of response to it. The Seahawks schedule is out, and we talked a lot about this. I don't know, what did you... I was interested in reading some of the prediction after the schedules came out. You see a lot of different outlets saying, well, here's our prediction for every team as far as what the record's going to be. Mm-hmm. You were looking at the Vegas odds on Seattle. What did you say? It was 7.5?
7.5.
Really?
I can't.
I will take the over on that every day. I'm not a gambler, so maybe I'm being foolish. That they're suckering me in, right? You want to put a line up there that gets everybody involved, but to me that feels like an absolute layup.
Yeah. Well, if you want to do predictions, I mean, I can see my way clear to 10 or 11 wins.
Yeah.
And I think I'm leaning towards 11, just looking at this, the matchups and everything. And by the way, when I was playing, I don't ever remember looking at the schedule. I mean,
you didn't have it circled on your calendar. It gets released tomorrow.
No. I mean, I don't even know when they did it. You would get to camp maybe, and they'd have the schedule in the front of your playbook maybe. I don't remember it, but yeah, it's a huge deal. By the way, I was sitting here just like you were, just cracking up about the Indianapolis Colts should not have taken that down. That is, I think it's hilarious, man.
Yeah,
they got a Coast Guard boat. That's
a picture of a dolphin wearing a number 10 jersey labeled Hill, swimming along before he stopped by a Coast Guard boat with a blaring siren.
I love that. I love that. And then the Seahawks, I went through and looked at a few of the videos. To me, I thought the New Orleans New Orleans Saints one was really funny. They had the head coach out there talking about, what about this? He's answering questions. And then they had kind of like a office linebacker type of thing. Remember Terry Crews?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he was kind of there regulating, but there was a guy standing with his arms folded, and he's screaming at what kind of question is that? I hear your stupid little radio show and this and that. He's just going on and on. So there were some funny ones. Of course, the Seahawks, they had Spoon in theirs, so of course it was good. And the little, toys that they're playing with and they're knocking over, and this is, the way that they announce the schedule. But yeah, it's to the point now where they have, there's a competition to see who can have the best video release of the schedule. So yeah, it's big news.
Yeah, it is huge news for a lot of people out there, and you guys can weigh in as well. I'm sure most people, if you're a Seahawks fan, you've seen the schedule by this point, I would assume. And if you have, you're one of those people. Text in what you think their record is going to be. 866-979-3776. We had somebody who yesterday texted in, I see them winning at least 13 games. At least.
Hold on a second now.
I'm optimistic too, but let's give it a beat here.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is, look, we don't know what these teams are going to look. We don't know what the Seahawks are going to look like after they go through. They cut everybody. They may bring in other free agents. So what the finished product looks like, we have no idea. We still have no idea who's going to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're assuming it could be Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Maybe it's not. Who's going to be the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints? The reason I bring those two teams up, they're two of your first three opponents. I don't know, is Brock Purdy going to have his new deal in hand to start the year? I mean, I keep seeing headlines. They're close. It's going to be this much. It's going to be that much. Nothing's happened yet. But you open the season with the San Francisco 49ers at home, and then you're on the road against the Steelers and DK Metcalf and whoever may be throwing him the ball at that particular moment. I'm not sure. And then the Saints at home, whoever may be quarterbacking that team. So then you go on the road against Arizona. We can go through all the primetime games. That's the first primetime game of the season, by the way. The Arizona road game is Thursday Night Football on Prime Video. We also had somebody text in yesterday that you and I are old because we don't like the streaming. I'm like, no. I embrace technology. I embrace advancement. I like when things get better and faster and more convenient and they're smaller and all of that. This isn't it. That's the problem. It's not more convenient. It's not easier, and it doesn't allow you to channel surf.
Yeah, that's true. I would say I'm more annoyed by the Mariner games that are on some premium channel.
On Apple and all that.
Yeah. I shouldn't tell you what's happening Friday then.
Okay.
Tomorrow. The game's on Apple.
Apparently it's on Apple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Dave's going to have to do the QR code, and it's not going to log him in.
Yeah, and then I'm going to spend like 20 minutes on the phone with the gal from Xfinity, and yeah, it's
he's already figured out what the day's going to look like tomorrow. Frustrating.
Yeah,
Frustrating.
I think most people feel like we do, but maybe I'm wrong. And I'm sure people will let us know on the texters. I know Matt and Gina have before. We got Matt and Gina in studio here.
Yeah, they won the bid to come hang out with us today. Both seem like very cool people, and they both have admitted to being
of course they're cool
mean
people.
Texters. They've said some vicious things about us, so I appreciate that they've shown up in person to acknowledge the mean, hurtful things that we've carried with us throughout the months and years. I don't know how long it's been since they texted, but no, great to have them in. And I don't know. The streaming thing, look, I can do it. I have those things. It's just what bothers me, Dave, is whether it's a baseball game, a football game, as soon as they go to the commercial, my first instinct is to press guide and see, all right, where's the other game? Or hit the back button.
Right.
And what does that do? It takes you out of that app.
Yeah.
Takes you out of, and then
Yes,
you got to sign back in. You got to watch the wheels spin, and it takes forever. And you're just like, this is just so clunky. It's no good.
Yeah, well, and so yeah, like I said, it's more annoying for the Mariner games than it is for the Seahawks. But yeah, they've got a Prime Video, they got an ESPN Plus, another Prime Video, and then we got a couple of the games at the end of the year, which
To be determined.
The whole flexible schedule thing.
Yeah. What do you think this team? And again, we're going into this a little blind. We haven't seen anything in preseason, no practices, no training camp, no preseason football. So we'll leave this open to change. We'll give an opinion now, but subject to change based on what unfolds in front of us. But just first blush, do you feel like this is a better team than last season? Because offense, I'm not sure. Defense, I'm almost 100% sure they're going to be as good as they were in the second half and better. I think the defense is going to be good. I think this is going to be they were a really good defense second half of last season. I don't think they're going to take any step back defensively. Offensively, I get it. There are questions, and I think that's probably where maybe the Vegas pessimism comes in, saying 7.5 wins, because we don't know, is Darnold going to be, which version do you get? What are they going to be without DK, without Tyler Lockett? Is the line going to be better? New offensive coordinator. So there are a lot of legitimate, realistic questions around the offense.
Yeah, and I think offense it's going to be all about coaching. And, we're seeing this with the Mariners right now. It's the year of the coach because, you have the same type of players with the Mariners. They're getting a different message. It's simplified, and everybody understands it. And, I think it's going to be the same thing on the offense. What I'm looking at is on the defense, how much better they're going to be, because they got a guy for the middle of the field in Wyman, and I really like that. Little light on corner, but I mean, you got 3 really good edge rushers with Uchenna, Boye Mafe, and then Derek Hall. So, and then you look at that. Who are they going to double team? If Byron Murphy takes the leap that I think he will, you got Leonard Williams inside, you got Jaron Reed. I mean, who are you going to double team? And then you got those guys coming off the edge. I thought Boye was maybe he didn't have the year I thought he would have. Right. But you got Witherspoon, maybe a little bit light at corner, but yeah, the defense, I think, especially up front, is going to be a lot better. So I basically went through the schedule. I think they can split with the Niners and the Rams. I think they're tough division foes, but I have them sweeping Arizona. And and there's
you don't
a
believe
few
in
tough
Kyler
games.
Murray?
No, I do not. Do not believe in Kyler Murray. So
I think they could be 4-0 to start the year.
Swept them last year, right? Yeah, they beat them down there and at home.
So you go San Fran, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Arizona. I very easily could see this team being 4-0. Not saying they will, but that's not absurd by any stretch.
Yeah. Well, and they've got some tough games, like a couple of home games, which I'm kind of wondering about, is Tampa Bay and Houston. Those are 2 really good teams. Both made the playoffs. If they're going to have because they had a dreadful. What was their home record last year? Was it like 2 and?
Why speculate, Dave? I'll look it up on the.
If only there was a way
here
to figure that out and look it up. Just So
it hasn't been good for a couple of seasons,
right?
That dominance at home. Last they were 3-6. Ugh.
Yeah, so and I think there's a couple of games at home that they probably could lose. I think they'll start off with a win against San Francisco, but you got Tampa Bay and Houston in there, and I think those 2 are going to be pretty tough. And Houston's a primetime game, I think, Monday night. So
yeah, it is primetime sort of. That's the ESPN Plus game at 7. Yeah. They've certainly made that the B game. That's one of those nights where there's 2 Monday night games. Right. That's definitely the B game, especially if you're an East Coaster, you're not going to start that game till 10 p.m. So, yeah, that's the other part of the schedule we talked about yesterday is they've got back-to-back primetime games with a bye week in between. So you've got Sunday, October 12th against the Houston Texans. That's the ESPN Plus game. That's Monday night. Then you've got the bye week. Then you come back for Sunday night football on the road against the Washington Commanders. So you got 4 primetime games in all, 2 of them back-to-back.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and at Washington's going to be really tough. That's one I have them. If I think they're going to be 11-6. That's my number. I think probably going to drop. At San Francisco, at the Rams, those are going to be tough. At Washington is going to be tough, and I actually think at Pittsburgh. Is going to be difficult as well. So, but still, I can see my way to 11 wins.
Yeah, I've got them 17-0 right now, but we'll see what goes on after that. By the way, if you missed any part of our show or you just want to go watch things over again, you can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can search for Seattle Sports on all social media platforms to find segments, conversations, interviews with athletes, Seahawks players, Mariner players. It's all out there. Meanwhile, Pete Carroll was a guest of Brock and Salk, talked about a few different things. Always good to hear from Pete. Like you always say, I hear him, I see him, I'm like, I miss Pete. And that's not got nothing to do with McDonald. It's just about his presence here in Seattle for over a decade and just the energy and his personality is incredibly unique. But he was asked about, the split with the Seahawks, and here's his take on it.
It came to me that there was a time that we probably were about to face one of the bigger changes, shifts in the time of the program, and I really been dedicated, as John had been dedicated to, John Schneider, to doing this thing in great fashion together, and we had done that, I thought, and it was really John's turn. It was his turn to take over, and I know I had the lead voice and all of that all through that time, and I was really hoping that John could become the general manager of the club and run it, and if we could do that and we'd figure a way to get out of that, we did, and so Jody was great about it, and so we just kind of agreed upon it that if we could work it out, I would support the thought, and that's kind of how it happened. So it's a little bit different than maybe how people perceived it.
It's a very positive spin on it.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically saying I was in charge the whole time, and we were getting ready to sort of transition to John Schneider, and so
I like how he said, I wanted John to be the general manager. I'm like,
yeah,
he was the general manager.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, he had final say, and I think when they hired John, that was the deal, and Pete was on a roll, having come from USC. I mean, he had a ridiculous winning streak that, like, if you go back and look at, there's a couple of overtime losses. I think one of them's to Washington State. That if you could go back, it extends that winning streak. Right. Like he
was a superhero. I was living out there in L.A. when he was there in all of his glory. He was a rock star. He was. They didn't have a pro football team at the time in L.A. It was USC.
That's right.
And that's where all the celebs were on the sidelines. You see Will Ferrell and Snoop Dogg and all these people hanging out. I mean, that was the place to be, and they were killing it. And he could not have had a better situation in terms of profile, lifestyle, just adulation. People loved him out there. I was actually questioning, why would you take that Seahawks job? You've got it made here, dude.
You did.
But then, the things came down with the sanctions and the whatever went on. People think he was trying to get out in front of that. I don't know. I don't know if that was the motivation or not. But he talked about the differences that popped up between him and Schneider.
And then, John got his chance. I had told him the first day we ever talked that I was going to help him be the best general manager in the history of professional sports. I was a little lofty, a little lofty at the time. He was like 38 at the time. He's looking at me like, what the heck is this guy saying? But I meant it, really. And so I think that through the time, he has developed, it was kind of his turn. And there was a lot of big changes that were going to happen and that were going to, they were going to have to come. And I thought, we might not agree on all of those changes, because I was going to hang with some guys more than maybe he would at the time, and the changes they made have obviously turned out great. They got a good coach and a good staff, and they're rolling, and so more power to them.
You think he's talking coaches there? Hang with some guys a little?
Yeah, I think coaches and then, players a little bit. And there's been some players that I think John wanted to be more like Bill Belichick, that let's get rid of him before he...
A year early as opposed to a year late.
Right. But, Pete, first of all, can you imagine, you mentioned him staying at USC. I can't imagine. I had, I think, 4 different head coaches, including Don James, come into my living room when I was being recruited. Can you imagine Pete coming in there? I mean, oh my gosh.
I think I'd be sold.
Yeah,
be like, I'm going to play for this guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's coaching. I mean, he gets the best out of his players. Look at Richard Sherman. I mean, I watched Sherm in college, and no offense to Sherm, I mean, there's no way. I thought a 5th rounder for Sherm. I mean, I think he's maybe one of the best corners in the history of the NFL. And he got the most out of people. And look, I'm going to put a lot of that on Sherm. He's very, very talented, but Pete unlocked it. And he just was the best. That's what it's all about. So, yeah, it was kind of interesting situation, though, the whole thing with him and John. And, John, and we heard over the years that, sometimes they drafted for need when, John didn't necessarily want to do that. So, but, man, it all worked out. And like I said, I saw Pete a couple of years ago, or it was last year. And, he's just one of those guys that just brightens your whole day.
No matter what's going on.
Yeah.
I used to crack up at, somebody got injured, looked like it could be serious, and there's Pete going, this is a great opportunity, man. This so-and-so is going to step in there and jump in there, and he's going to compete like crazy, and we're fired up for him. And, here's somebody's knee bent the wrong direction. He's talking about the guy behind him who gets an opportunity now, and he's celebrating. And hey, good on him, man.
That's when he sold me. I was sitting there because I remember listening to in the beginning. I'm like, oh, he's a rah guy coming from USC. What kind of effect is he going to have with the pro guys? He's had his run in the NFL, wasn't great. College is more for him. And then I'm sitting there listening to him talk about that, and he said that very thing. It was like, yeah, this is an opportunity for this guy to step up. There was no talk about, oh, poor us, man, this is going to be rough. I mean, he's an amazing motivator.
Yeah, I'll be rooting for Pete. Definitely rooting for Pete. All right, let's take two.
All right, so a couple of updates trickled out after the Mariners game yesterday. They announced their probables for the series in San Diego was TBD, but now we know Logan Evans, Emerson Hancock, and Brian Wu. And then J.P. Crawford, Dan Wilson gave this update in postgame. He had shoulder tightness, but still considered day-to-day.
Wonder when that happened. Was that in the celebration after the walk-off hit?
No, it's weird because he was out there on the field pregame. And he went through some drills, was doing everything like normal, and then all of a sudden he was scratched.
Tightened up on him. All right. And then you go into San Diego, and the Padres are a really good team. You got your two young guys going. I mean, they're all young, but you're really young guys in Logan Evans. That'll be his fourth career start. And then Emerson Hancock. This isn't what you envisioned going into the season, that these two names would be part of your regular rotation, at least for now.
No, and it's just ridiculous. Like, it has to stop with the injuries. I mean,
enough already.
Like every week they lose somebody, and I mean, we've kind of like even forgotten about Robles. You know, I mean, it's crazy. And a lot of times you look at the lineup and go, they're going to win with this, but you go back and look, and they have been winning.
Still in first place.
A lot of good coaching going on.
Well, about that, they are still in first place, up a game on both the Astros and the Rangers, and they play each other. These two teams begin a 4-game series tonight in Arlington. The Mariners will obviously go face the Astros at the end of this road trip, and then a game and a series, I guess, that looks pretty tough when they come back. So the Twins, who come here at the end of May, they just won their 11th in a row today.
Yeah, it's... you got the Astros and Rangers both a game behind, so you're like, all right, who are you rooting for? Well, certainly not the Astros. But the Texas Rangers are starting to play the way people expected. They've won 5 in a row. They've won 7 of 10. The Astros have won 2 in a row for their part. They're 5-5 in their last 10. But the Rangers are getting hot right now. So there's part of me going, yeah, I'd like to see them cooled off a bit, but I can't root for the Astros to win. So despite how hot the Rangers seem to be getting, I'm going to have to go ahead and root for them to remain hot, at least through this series.
Well, I think everybody's thinking about last year, right? I mean, wasn't there a 10-game lead over the Astros at one point?
Yes, there was, Dave.
And it disappeared
that was unnecessary.
Very quickly. Yeah, well, I'm just saying that's where I think a lot of people's apprehension comes from, especially when every day it seems like there's a new injury.
Yeah, hopefully that's coming to an end. Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. What is next for Bryce Miller and this Mariners pitching staff? We're going to get into all of that. Coming up next with Wyman and Bob, this is Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How are you?
Bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and you've heard about my success losing 35 pounds in just 8 weeks with the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan. I know you've heard from Ryan Rowland Smith as well. Well, now I want you to hear from someone just like you, a Seattle sports listener. Chad, who lives in the South Sound, he joins me now. Chad, how much weight did you lose?
I lost about 20% of my total body weight. I was down 43 pounds from the start of the reduction phase till it ended.
43 pounds. My gosh, how'd that make you feel? Would you recommend it?
Fantastic. Confident, first and foremost, for me. much more confident, and then also just healthier, just easier to do things around the house, easier to do things at work. I would 100% recommend it. I can promise you'll lose the weight you want to lose.
Well, that's another ringing endorsement for Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Yep, Chad started his journey with just a 15-minute phone call. You can schedule yours today at eastsideweightlossklinik.com. Have the same kind of success I did, the same kind of success as Ryan, and the same kind of success as Chad. Go to eastsideweightlossklinik.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
We were the Humane Society of the United States. 70 years of fighting for animals. Today, we are called Humane World for Animals, a name that reflects our unstoppable commitment to end animal cruelty globally. Humane World for Animals, the end of animal cruelty.
Celebrate 50 seasons of Seahawks football at Lumen Field and take your game day to the next level with premium hospitality and incredible views. Host a one-of-a-kind event in a private game day suite or get front row access with sideline and end zone field seats. For more on how to elevate your game day at Lumen Field, visit Seahawks.com/premium.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL Line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
My teacher is the best because she gives us pajama day.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, sponsored by WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Hey. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See team for full details and disclaimers.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. Andy in the 253 says, Dave, you're old. Split with the division? No. Break out the brooms. They're sweeping the West. Apparently, because you don't think they're going to sweep the West, that
has something to do with my age.
Your age is becoming problematic, I think.
Hey, I have them splitting with the Rams and Niners and sweeping Arizona. It's pretty optimistic.
That's what an old person says.
Yeah, apparently.
All right.
It's not Friday, numbnuts. All right? You can send in your mean text tomorrow.
866-979-3776. Meanwhile, Mariners with the day off. They get back to action tomorrow in San Diego to begin their 10-game road trip with 3 against the San Diego Padres. Bryce Miller was put on the IL with right elbow inflammation, which is not good news, obviously. And Justin Hollander with Bump and Stacy talking about seems to be some optimism that this is not a big deal, not a big concern, at least right now.
Bryce is going on the IL. We don't think it's serious. We would anticipate him being back, when he's eligible in 15 or so days. And that's just part of the deal. We want to do the right thing for Bryce and make sure we get this taken care of.
And then he gives a little bit more in the way of detail on what the injury is.
It's the backside of his right arm. It's not where UCL or flexor is. It's inflammation in the back of his arm. And I realize I'm on radio and now pointing at the backside of my elbow. But there's just some inflammation in there. Yeah. So he had a cortisone shot yesterday. Okay. Again, he'll be down. I would anticipate 3 to 4 days at that point with no throwing and let the cortisone do his work and then start throwing from there. As of now, we would anticipate him being eligible or active when he's eligible again or something close to that. So not serious.
Yeah, the expectations for Bryce Miller were pretty high and probably more than anybody else, I think. So I'm kind of torn on this, Bob, where I'm like, I think I said at one point, I hope it's a mental thing. But those sometimes can last a long time. I mean,
you said you hope it's a physical thing.
Or
because you would know what it is, at least.
Right. Yeah. And then, but then you go, but then you go, okay, well, what if it was a psychological thing? If he's in his head, it could happen just like that. I mean, it could click tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, at least I hope that, this is it and it's not, his mental problem. But that I was talking to Lefko like that about that before the show.
You're falling apart. What's going on?
Yeah. Let me rephrase. No, I was just thinking like I'm kind of torn on that because if it's a psychological thing, you could just it could all of a sudden just be okay. It clicked for me. Like
it doesn't feel like it's both. I mean, I know that's riding the fence, but because he wasn't feeling right physically and he's just seeing no success, he's trying these different things to get around it. He's up in his head, and he kept saying it. You don't want to get this into a mental thing. You don't want it to be a mental thing. He's fearful of that. You could hear it. So it seems like it's become both. And I guess the part I like about this, if there's something to like, is that Justin Hollander is very clear in saying, we don't think it's serious. Like he seems very light about it. Like, he's gonna spend this time on the IL 15 days, and they expect that he's gonna be right back in action as soon as that time's up. Not sort of indefinite right now. We'll see how he responds, and we're gonna work him back in slowly. It sounds like they're just like, nah, cortisone shot should be good, and that's the expectation. He just sounds very light about it. That certainly things could change, but at least in the moment, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, well, and the thing with pitching, too, is it just so mechanical that, if all of a sudden he gets some inflammation or whatever it is, it's the back of his throwing arm, now all of a sudden he's going to compensate. you know, and he's going to throw differently. And now all of a sudden you get all out of whack and your mechanics are gone. And so, you know, and I think that's most of the reason why they shut guys down. They're especially pitchers. They're very careful with them because, you know, you make adjustments to alleviate the pain and stay away from whatever, if you have a tear or inflammation, whatever it is. And now all of a sudden your mechanics are all screwed up and you're throwing the ball all over the place. And, you know, going into the season, Miller said he had 7 pitches. So I kind of, at the time, was kind of thinking maybe narrow that down a little bit. Maybe he was trying to do too much. But, yeah, makes you wonder how much of that maybe led to the injury, and you know how it's just slowly kind of taking his mechanics apart.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a result of too many different pitches or not. He said he was feeling this at the end of last season, and it carried through the offseason and the spring training, and so this wasn't something that just cropped up this season. I certainly, you know, him trying to adjust to it and
so you're saying you think it might have been something he should have had surgery on?
Oh, I don't think.
I mean, how if it lasts that long?
Well, he just said he hasn't felt right. So whether it's this exact thing, now he did have his back lock up on him. That he brought that up. Maybe he's had some other things where he's just said physically, I haven't felt good. That's what he kept saying. I just haven't felt good.
Yeah.
You know, but is it just this one thing? And he talked about it in one of the clips we played the other day that this dates back to before this season. So. Yeah, I don't know that there's anything to operate on. It sounds like they're looking at it going, no, structurally everything's good. It's just there's some inflammation there. You know, and maybe it's just a collection of things. Like you said, his back, the back of his arm, who knows what else was going on. But he's a guy that I wonder if he'll have once Logan and Kirby are back, how much that takes off of how much pressure it takes off him and how much pressure it takes off Castillo. And just, you know, there's maybe subconsciously even a feeling that, you know, I was a guy in this rotation last year, 31 starts, sub-3 ERA. I got to help carry this thing while they're gone. You know, and maybe it's like we've talked about Julio. The spotlight has been on other players that have been coming through with Polanco and JP and Cal and all these other guys that have stepped up. Maybe that's allowed Julio to just kind of quietly start to get hot on his own without the big bright light of when's he going to do it? When's he going to do it? Because they need him. He better come up big here. Well, other guys are coming up big. So the focus shifts. And I'm wondering if when they get back, maybe that'll help shift some of the focus off Miller because, oh, look at Kirby. He's great. And Logan's great. They're dealing. Maybe some of that spotlight goes away from him and it will be a helpful situation.
Well, you bring that up and it makes you realize how, you know, if you would have said, based on what they did during the offseason or didn't do, and, you know, a guy like Rivas was going to have an on-base percentage that was almost 500.
Yeah.
And that guys like that would be carrying the team. And furthermore, if he said, hey, we're going to be without Kirby to start the season, and then at some point you're going to lose Logan.
And then you're going to lose Robles.
And then Robles. And then, I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and they've still been able to get it done. So this has been really cool. I think we're going to look back at this this part of the season, and hopefully it continues, obviously. But, wow, they really scrapped together a bunch of wins. I mean, you got Cal, obviously, and then Brian Woo's been great. But still, they've been getting it done with guys like Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know.
There's no diss on him. It's just that you don't really have, you know, you're not full strength at all.
No, you're not close. And look, in totality, he's not been great. He's just been timely.
Right.
You know, and that's been true for a couple of guys. They've been timely, you know, but overall, are they having great seasons, great start to the season? No. Some of them are not. But it's just, you know, and you can't help but think, you know, for somebody like Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock, how big this is. You know, that they're being relied upon every fifth day as we sit right now. They're not getting called up for one start and getting sent back down to Tacoma. Hey, this guy just had to work something out, so you're going to be here for one start, and then you're going to go right back down. No, you're in the rotation. This is, for the time being, your job until these guys get back. So this is huge, especially for Logan Evans. Again, he's got 3 starts under his belt. You know, Hancock had a number last year, but he's still young to the game, if you will. So this is... You know, I can only think of this as a benefit for these guys moving forward, that they're getting this action. They're getting it when it matters. They're getting it when the team is in first, and they're trying to hold it together. This is huge experience for them.
Yeah. Well, and Emerson Hancock, like the way he started out, I mean, everybody was ready to just ship him out of town. And, you know, you have to kind of go through that. And now all of a sudden he's sort of evening out. But, yeah, it's just not anywhere near what we expected. But I don't think, you know, on the other side, offensively, especially with all the injuries, I just thought Robles was the most important. That was such a low point after getting swept by the Giants. He gets hurt. You know, he was really good at that leadoff spot and just thought he was really necessary. And he is, but it hasn't really been reflected in the record. It's really been awesome seeing the way that, and like I said, I think we're going to look back at this point and go, man, these guys did everything they possibly could and got a lot out of, you know, players that they didn't necessarily count on.
All right, coming up, is there a Seahawks controversy brewing this offseason? We'll get into that during our Best of the Rest segment. Coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
Hey, it's Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come to work for IRG. With just over 40 locations in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, you have the opportunity to work in the city and place you want with a great team, a great atmosphere, and great mentorship.
Shannon, what type of staff are you looking to hire? Is it just clinical staff right now?
We are looking to hire not only physical therapists, but also occupational therapists, exercise techs, athletic trainers, front office coordinators. We have a whole platform of different services we provide to the community.
Over 40 clinics in the Pacific Northwest. There are openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers and apply today. But Shannon, will they have any fun coming to work at IRG?
Oh my gosh, Brock, that's what it's all about. We want to have fun. We're all about passion. We're all about positivity. We want people to change lives. That's what we're doing here at IRG. We're changing lives, not only of our employees, our patients, and our communities. We want you to be your best self.
So head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers, and apply today.
G. Scott here with former Seahawk Doug Baldwin. Tell us about Nourishing Champions.
We know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers. And one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. So Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
High schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn more at championsofchangefoundation.org.
seattlesports.org/nourishingchampions.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
It's time for a girls' night out back. Australia's Thunder from Down Under Temptation Tour is hitting Galaxy at Muckleshoot, June 5th through 7th. Tight abs, ripped bodies, and moves so hot you'll need a cold shower after. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com and feel the thunder. June 5th through 7th, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple of years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
We know you love listening to us, but there are great discussions happening all over our station.
I need more Jake Bobo. I need more of them.
Because Jake Bobo is objectively fun to say.
Yep, just not good at bats.
Stinks. Let's tone it down.
It's time for the best of the rest.
How dare you?
It is time for Best of the Rest. We haven't done this much lately. Our schedule's been kind of all over the place with Mariner games and getting preempted, draft, all that good stuff. So we decided to do it today. Pay a little visit to some of the conversations happening with Bump and Stacy and Brock and Salk. And Dave and I will come in and give the correct opinion on these topics. That's how we like to view it. But we'll start with Bump and Stacy. On Monday, they were talking about the... I don't know how much you've read about the Seahawks changing their season ticket holder policy and trying to limit people just buying tickets and selling them to, out-of-state fans and all that good stuff. Here's their conversation on that.
The Seahawks are cracking down on season ticket holders who are regularly reselling their tickets. This posted by Evan Hill on X. It's a message sent out to season ticket holders from the Seahawks on Friday. At the conclusion of each season, accounts that resell a majority of their season tickets will be contacted and given an opportunity to respond before any renewal eligibility decisions are made. The issue, while occasional, this is what the Seahawks say, while occasional resale is permitted, renewal eligibility may be impacted if it is determined that your season tickets were primarily used for resale purposes.
There are some people who are going to say, listen, I'm a season ticket holder. Those are my tickets. I should be able to do whatever I want with those tickets. And I understand your argument. And then there's the other side that's saying, no, these people are reselling their tickets to the ops. I've seen Niners fans there, which is typical, right? When I saw Dolphins fans as deep as they were, I'm like, come on now. When I saw Denver fans as deep as they were, Bills, Vikings, I'm like, what's going on here? So the reason why this is a problem is because what was Seattle known for at one point? One of the greatest home field advantages of all time. Home field advantage is real. The feeling you get when you are on a drive and the crowd is supporting you, it's real. It does something for you.
Yeah, I get all that, and it was a decided home field advantage. We've talked about how they've played at home over the recent years, not just last year, 3-6 last year. They have not been a good home team for whatever reason. That advantage has gone away. Yeah. And as much as I agree that it is annoying to see that many opposing fans in the stands, I hate it. I can't tell somebody who spent their money, they earn their money, they spend it accordingly, and you buy something, you should be able to do what you want with it. I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's America, man. And I feel it's almost kind of weird that the Seahawks are like saying, well, you'll have an opportunity. Basically, you're going to have an opportunity to defend yourself,
right.
Explain yourself, and then we'll let you know if we're going to let you renew your tickets.
That's kind of interesting. I wonder how that dialogue goes. I mean, you're getting a call, or
you're going to go, Mr. Wyman, we saw of the 9 home games, you sold 8 of them.
Right.
What do you have to say for yourself, sir?
Right. And I'm sure people are going, well, my daughter got married and this happened and then I had to do this and that and try to explain it away. It's, I don't like messing with the free market. It's like you said, it is America, but we're kind of going through this with like down in Palm Springs. We have a place down there and they've started to make it so you can't rent out for anything less than a month because people were, like especially in some of these communities where you have neighbors. And
is that like a homeowners thing?
Yeah. Well, no,
homeowners
it's like I think it's down in Palm Springs, I think. Where it has to be like because what people were doing is renting out like almost like a hotel. Yeah. And it's in some of these places where, and like you said, it's your home. You can do whatever you want. But then, in some of these like communities that are gated and things like that, like you've got people coming down there for like the crazy concert that they have down there and stuff like that. And so, it's like, well, wait a minute, this is ours and we should be able to do whatever we want with it. But I guess I can see my way clear to, okay, what if the guy next door was doing that and you're trying to just, have a nice house that's quiet and now you've got renters coming in and they're loud and they're, changing every day,
unless they come up with some, like, here are the rules of the neighborhood. You can rent it out every day, but everybody that comes in follows these rules, like, what a noise ordinance or whatever they need to implement to make sure that isn't, hey, it's disrupting those that live here full time.
But that doesn't happen.
No, I'm just trying to think of a way around it because you should. If you purchase a place,
right,
you should be able to
do it.
Rent it out every night if you want to a different person. And season tickets, I mean, those are yours, man. I mean, I don't know. It just feels weird. It feels weird to say, yeah, you spent X amount of hundreds or thousands or whatever it ends up costing you for these tickets. They're yours, but you have to be the one sitting there. So you are not allowed to sell this many games, beyond this many games. I'm thinking, well, if it's my money and my ticket, I can do what I want with them. If I don't want to show up and leave those seats empty, then I'm going to not show up and leave them empty. And if I want to give them to friends or
all of a sudden you go down a rabbit hole where it's like, okay, what? You're getting away from the free market system, basically. But, the wisest thing I heard was from Dave Pearson, our buddy Dave Pearson. He was like, I was talking to him about it, and he goes, we got to win him back.
Yeah, that's what I was starting with. Yeah. You haven't been good at home.
3 and
so
6.
You're providing some incentive for season ticket holders to sell their tickets.
Right.
This was not a problem back when they were just crushing teams that came in here, and teams were fearful of coming in here. Mm-hmm. And I hate seeing that many opposing fans. It makes me nuts to see that much red in the stands when the 49ers are in town. Yeah. Seeing all the Bills fans out of nowhere showing up. It's maddening, but at the same time, I'm like, well, technically it's their tickets. They can do what they want with them. But apparently the Seahawks are saying, no, you can't. We'll let you know what you can do with them at the end of the season. All right, moving on. Brock and Salk talked about our guy Luke Arkins, who's going to be joining us on the program coming up, so stay tuned for that. But he sent out a tweet about where Julio and his salary ranks and all amongst superstars. Where is he? We always talk about him being paid and marketed as a superstar, but there's also the question of whether you would sign him to the same deal he's currently under if you know what you know about him right now.
Julio is being paid like a superstar and isn't delivering like one. Mm-hmm. That's hypothesis one. And to that, he says, well, he's not being paid like a superstar. He's got long-term security, certainly. I mean, he's being paid for a very long time, and he's never going to have to work again. His family should be pretty well taken care of. But, and I'm quoting here, his 2025 salary ranks 60th in baseball. The average annual value for the initial 7 years of his deal is about $17.5 million.
$17.5 million feels very commensurate with the production that you get from him. Is $17.5 million paying for that a very fair number?
Yes.
Yes. I think it's a very fair number.
It's a very fair number.
Knowing now what you know, and you've got now 2+ years of watching it, would you go back in time and do the deal again?
Yeah.
You would?
I think I would.
Do you have to pause?
Yeah. Of course I got to pause because it's not like he's not like he's outplayed the deal. right? It's not like I feel like, oh my God, like I signed him for peanuts and now he's just dominating. No, I don't feel that way. But I don't think it was a bad deal. I think the question for me is, what effect did the deal have on Julio? I don't know the answer to that question.
60th in pay.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's too bad that we aren't. I mean, I guess you want it to be like, wow, he's really underpaid right now for what he, because, that's what happens over time.
Yeah.
Remember when Russ wanted $20 million? That was outrageous.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it makes you feel a little bit better, but it also makes you think, that's too bad that you're not saying the other way. Like,
he's underpaid.
He's underpaid.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you do look at it and go, I guess he's not being paid like a superstar as much as we say that. Now, on this team, he is. This team, with their budget and how they pay players, yeah, he's the highest paid.
Right.
But he's 24 years old, and he's a plus for this team. He's not as much of a plus as people want him to be.
Right.
Again, he's quietly having the best start of his career if you look at it in comparison to his other seasons, and we'll see how it ends up for him. But would I do that deal again based on what we know now, what he's produced versus what the market is telling you? Yes. Yeah, 24 years old? Certainly I would.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's quietly becoming, but you know what's like out loud is his defense is unbelievable.
Yep.
It's like every game he's making a sliding catch.
All right, coming up, he's pulling double duty this week because he's a man of experience, Dave. Paul Moyer is going to join us next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
The great Daniel Jeremiah.
Hey, by the way, there's a lot, I did not know this, but there are a lot of transplants from Seattle down in San Diego and Southern California. And I've had a handful of people that I'm friends with that listen religiously to your show on the app down here. So
I'll tell you what,
you guys for making me popular in my friend group.
The day I get fired or retire, I will be joining you and all of those expats in San Diego.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Hey 12, Stu Vrabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Introducing frequent flights between Boeing Field and a private terminal at Portland Airport. Seaport Airlines is transforming travel with convenience, comfort, and free parking just steps from your plane. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
I'm Sia, and I support Humane World for Animals, formerly called the Humane Society of the United States. Together, we have created a new version of Peter Gabriel's beautiful song, Salisbury Hill, to celebrate humane world for animals and everything they do. Enjoy the song and join us in helping Humane World for Animals end animal cruelty.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with store bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, NFL owners were going to vote next week on a resolution that would allow players to participate in flag football during the 2028 Olympics, according to a memo the league sent to teams this week. According to the resolution, quote, participation by NFL players in flag football during the 2028 Summer Olympics will support such growth and advance several league interests, including increasing fans and public interest in flag football, expanding the global reach of the NFL, and providing greater opportunities for fan engagement and for our league partners. So we'll see if that actually does happen. Meanwhile, taking a look at your baseball scoreboard, just two more games to come today. The Astros and Rangers get together in Texas. The A's and Dodgers in L.A. The finals from this afternoon. Braves beat the Nationals 5-2. Twins shutting out the Orioles 4-0. It was the Reds over the White Sox 7-1, and the Rays take out the Blue Jays 8-3.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is the moment many wait for.
The most entertaining.
The man of wisdom. The man of experience, Dave.
The most informative.
To bring light to a dark subject. To bring positivity to a negative world.
The incredible Paul Moyer.
Moyer out.
He's here, everybody.
Yeah, you're going to be tired of this guy by tomorrow. I'll tell you that much.
Or you will be, too. I think the listeners will be just fine with this guy who joins us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. He's a man of experience, Dave. He's Paul Moyer. How are you, man?
Happy to be here. And, yeah, I got to psych myself up to spend 3.5 hours with Dave. It's been a while tomorrow. But
you're going to be carrying the load, Paul.
He's gonna make you do updates. He's gonna make you bring it in and out of breaks. It's gonna be a fun day for you.
Paul's a radio man. He knows what to do.
Yeah. Been there, done that. Though I like when other people bring us in and out of breaks better than me doing it. So that's good.
All right. Well, that's for people that don't know what we're talking about. I'm off tomorrow. Lefko's off tomorrow. We're not off together. We're doing separate things. But Paul Moyer will be in here filling in, and Matt Nelson producing the show, which I know Dave is super excited about. You're going to have fun watching Dave and Matt go back and forth at each other, Paul.
Don't tell people that. No one's going to listen.
I actually like Matt, so we'll be okay.
Paul has never been a good judge of character. That's his one flaw.
Fair.
I like how he said it. I actually like Matt. Like
Matt.
he's the outlier.
That's right.
Well, Paul, what did you? Are you somebody that gets super excited for the schedule release? I was talking to Dave. Like, do you even remember when you were playing, schedules coming out, or how that was treated? Now every team produces a video, and it's this. Much like everything the NFL does, a huge event, the schedule release.
Yeah, it's funny. I was telling my wife the other day, I said, God, the NFL is a machine. I was looking at the draft, and the draft, one of the days, there's, one of the top 100 most watched programs, throughout the year. I'm going, a draft. And I said, probably not the release of the schedule, but even that, they make a sort of production. I never really cared about it. I was always curious, just the first opening game, that's such an important one and what you're preparing for. And now with the international games, I'm always curious, hey, we got a shot to fly overseas and hang out for a few days as a broadcast crew. But normally, no. But I am intrigued by this schedule just because there's some intriguing storylines. Obviously, opening up with the 49ers is huge, and finishing the season with them is huge because that's our rival. I think over either the Rams and Cardinals, but I think that's such a big home opener and one that's going to obviously set the tone for the rest of the year. And then, obviously you got DK and Bobby Wagner, even though I think that's kind of old news. We played against him before. Mm-hmm. Tyler Lockett, we'll see if he's healthy enough and not that he gets hurt a lot, but if his age is there. We don't play until like the third or last game of the season. So we'll see if he's a part of that. The bummer is I think that one is on the road, so we won't get a chance to see him here. But yeah, it's a really good schedule, man. I was going through it, and I know this is the fun part. You start putting the W's and L's. You can make a case. We're undefeated going into the bye week. And everybody's going, "Oh, you homer, here you go again, Paul." No. Hang on. But just if you take care of business at home, right? San Francisco, tough game. But it's a home opener. I think we're a playoff team. My expectation is you win the home games. And your home games are San Francisco, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, and Houston. Two good quarterbacks in there, with Houston, maybe San Francisco and Tampa Bay. We could argue that one. But your three road games are at Pittsburgh. They don't have a quarterback yet. Arizona, they're not, they're better. That's always a tough divisional game. And at Jacksonville, you can make a case, take care of business at home. Those three road games, you're probably a favorite or, should be in a position to win those games just so you're probably going to have a better quarterback. So I can make a case. I'm not going to probably go down that path yet, but it's a very favorable schedule going into that bye week, and we ought to have a very good record.
Yeah, and Paul, we were talking about this. I know you're not a gambling man, but, you look at Vegas, the odds, it's 7.5. I'm like, where does that come from? And, I was going through the schedule or the roster and the depth chart, and, okay, maybe they're a little light at corner. Okay, maybe a question mark at quarterback, but holy smokes, man. It's interesting how, when you look at a team, I guess I get too close to the team. I don't know if you do as far as, kind of being a little bit of a homer, but 7.5?
I don't get it.
I don't understand that at all.
The only thing I get is we've made a change at quarterback, and you lost one of your superstars in DK, but to me, I'm looking at this roster right now, and I feel like we're better everywhere. Except I got to put the quarterback question mark. But if you're going off of last year's performance. And with Sam Darnold versus Geno Smith, if you just took their performance and numbers, That's not a downgrade. That's an upgrade. Now, we can't just go off statistics there. So that's a question mark. And I think that's your biggest question mark. And I think that's what holds them back from, that whatever 9-10 wins, whatever. But you start going through the schedule, and I'm like, we don't have a tough quarterback schedule. Whether you believe in Brock Purdy or not, I mean, I don't see him as elite. He's good, but he's not elite. He's not going to beat you on your own. In Pittsburgh, they don't have anybody. New Orleans, they don't have anybody. Arizona, I'm not a big, Kyler Murray fan. Tampa Bay, I mean, it's a good story. Happy for him, but, not an elite quarterback. Jacksonville, Houston, okay, maybe. Washington, he coming off a rookie year. There's no elite quarterbacks out there. We're going to play Atlanta with Pence. He hasn't really started. I mean, this would be, his real first year of starting. Minnesota, you're going to get basically a rookie quarterback who was hurt all last year. I mean, it's pretty favorable because a lot of times you go into the schedule, you start looking at matchups, and you go, oh, man, we got Kansas City and Mahomes, and we've got, like last year with Buffalo, we got Josh Allen. I mean, these are tough games just from the quarterback point of view. I'm not seeing it. And so, you stay healthy, take care of business at home. It's a very favorable schedule. I'm not a betting man, and I know we can't, but I might tell my friends to go and bet that over.
That's what I was saying, Paul. I would take that over every single day. But I also get the skepticism or the questions about the offense. And you touched on the main part of it. You don't, Sam Darnold, what version are you getting? We don't know. So I get that question. Also, the receiving core. I mean, are you going to say that Cooper Kupp at this point of his career and MVS are better than DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett? I don't know that that's true, and the offensive line was horrible last year. We're assuming it's going to get better. We're hoping it's getting better, but it's a new coach, a new scheme, some new players, so that is still a question. You feel like they wouldn't get worse, but so I understand. I think there's questions around the entire offense is my point, and I think they're legitimate. I have faith they're going to be better, but it's still a wait and see on that side of the ball.
Yeah, at wide receiver, it's going to be different. And, we're going to have Cooper Kupp inside. We certainly are missing that big, tall, athletic speed guy outside in DK. But again, I can make the argument with the passing scheme we're going to have, which will be more play action, more probably crossing routes, and the players we've got fit that scheme better. I think defensively we have a chance to be elite. It's certainly a top 10 defense. I think we're going to be deep, and we're going to be able to get after the pass or the quarterback, interior as well as on the edge. So there's some question marks. I mean, at corner, maybe the depth, but we have three pretty good corners. I don't know. I tell you, another one I saw was the odds were almost 600 plus 600 to win the West. And I'm like, okay, there's 4 teams in there. And so, again, you put $100 down, you win 600. Again, I'm not advocating gambling or anything, and I don't do it. I really don't. I don't gamble. But I go, there's 4 teams in there. Arizona's gotten a little better. The Rams, I think they're sideways. And I think the 49ers have for sure taken a step back. And now maybe they've got some younger guys that are really going to step up. So I'm just like, wow. I go, they're really discounting the Seahawks and not putting much faith in what we did defensively last year and certainly some of the additions we did offensively.
Hey, Paul, we were just talking about some of the restrictions possibly for selling tickets. The Seahawks were 3-6. They've got to win some games, but I don't know if you saw that and what your reaction was to they're trying to kind of crack down on people that are just using it as a transactional thing, with the season tickets. What was your – I don't know. I just kind of settle on the fact that they need to win games at home, and that's how you get your fans back. But what was your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple of teams trying to address it, and I think the genie's out of the bottle on that one. It's going to be very hard to get it back in. And, when you buy those, seat licenses, and a lot of the ticket brokers have done that, and they know that fans travel now. And so they've got a nice little business model. I look at it as more of, all right, we put some cameras out on the street and beware, we're going to be photoing you, so don't speed. It's not one of those that say, hey, you can't sell them. We're going to look at if you sell, I think, more than half or 3 or 4, whatever the number was, and then you will be getting a phone call. So for the ticket brokers who that's all they do is sell every single ticket, I think they're trying to weed them out. And that's going to take a few years. So I think it's a step in the right direction. It drove me nuts. But it's also, it's a free market. You do what you want until they say, hey, you're not allowed to sell tickets, period, once you buy them. I think that's a really tough one to monitor.
Yeah, it's Dave and I talked a lot about that, and we're getting texts on both sides of it. I'm somebody who hates seeing that ocean of red when the 49ers were there. That was just maddening, and the Bills, and hate it. But then the other side of me is going, well, look, I can't tell these fans how to fan. You spend thousands, whatever it costs for your season tickets, and I'm going to tell you, well, no, you have to go, or you can only hand them to Seahawks, sell them to Seahawks fans. It's like, well, it's their money, it's their tickets. They should be able to do with what they do with them as they see fit. So it's a slippery slope to me. I understand both sides of it, and I'm not trying to ride the fence because, again, I'm somebody who just hates seeing that many opposing fans in the stands. But I can't sit there and say, you shouldn't have sold your tickets, tell people what to do with their money and their product. That it's their money. They worked for it.
Yeah, they pay for them. This goes back when you sold the seat license, and now, to try and tell them what to do, I think it's really difficult. I remember when I was reading Nick Saban with Alabama, and he did it with the student section, and that if you leave and don't come back, they're going to revoke the tickets. Well, guess what? That's because they were giving them away. Those were free. That's an easier one to process, I guess. But if you're paying money and the system allows for it nationally, I don't think you can do anything. But I do like how they just said, hey, we're going to be monitoring this. And, if you're a ticket broker and sells every single ticket every year, we probably have the right not to renew your tickets. Yeah, and that part of it I get too. I mean, I think there's valid points all around it. So I'm sure you guys may bring this up tomorrow. Who knows? Do you have a plan in mind? Do you have an attack plan, Paul? Do you have some stuff? I'm ready to hit Dave with some knowledge. I'm ready to hit Dave. Doesn't even know what's coming. Oh, no, we're going to talk Mariners big time, and we're going to talk a lot about everything with them and making sure they're always – life, putting
relationships,
people,
thoughts and feelings.
Dave's got a notebook with that stuff in it.
Dave loves the feelings. How you feel. Yeah. I've got a few what's bugging Bob moments that I'm excited about.
Okay, what's bugging Paul?
Yeah. Well, we're going to save it for tomorrow, but there's a couple of Mariner ones that I think is going to be a little. I'm probably going to take a few hits for.
Okay.
But people are going to know what I'm talking about, and I know it's bugging them too. So we'll just save that for tomorrow.
That's a good tease.
We do have mean text tomorrow.
Yeah, you got mean text tomorrow too. So
is mean text after what's bugging Bob?
It's at the end of the show. Yeah,
that's right.
All right, I'm going to get a bunch of mean texts. Nice. I'm going to get a bunch. I promise you on this.
The listeners are on notice. Paul's going to divulge some thoughts and opinions that may not sit well with you, so act accordingly on mean text. Paul, we appreciate you, man. Have fun tomorrow, and we'll talk again next week as well.
All right. Enjoy your day off, and we'll chat with you next week.
There you go. There's Paul Moyer. If you missed any of that, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Also, you can hear Paul tomorrow. He'll be co-hosting with Dave Wyman.
Sounds like he wants to take over, really. Take the show over.
He's already got
I'd be fine with that.
He's already got it laid out. Oh, we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about that. I've got some opinions that people are not going to like. He's
got opinions.
I think he's already got the show laid out, Dave. You can just sleep in, just show up right before the show. Yep. Paul's got you covered.
Push the button, let him go.
Oh, that'll be good. Good stuff from Paul Moyer. Meanwhile, the Mariners begin their road trip, 10-game road trip, starting tomorrow. They've got 3 at San Diego. You got 3 versus the White Sox, and you end with 4 versus the Astros.
And that's the only 4 that you are looking at.
Well, it's the ones it's the one I will be. That series will be the one I'm most emotionally invested. Yeah. But looking at that,
And
you
by
got
emotions, you mean hatred. Sorry, to
That's
interrupt.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Sports hate
Okay,
will be just dripping out of me. But what's a reasonable expectation? 10 games. Is it reasonable to expect that they're going to go 5-5? Should they be better than 5-5? I mean, I certainly want that, but realistically, based on the injuries, based on who they've got available, the teams you're playing, how do you view that? Because I'm looking at it going, God, do I expect a sweep of the White Sox? White Sox can still beat some teams. They're not a great team by any stretch, but it's a road series, so just go. My expectation is take 2 of 3. You may drop one there.
Yeah. The White Sox are 14-30.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's
beaten 14 teams. They've won 4. So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't expect a sweep. I
Every
expect
third
a series
game.
win.
Yeah.
But do you expect?
I agree.
Do you?
No, I don't expect a sweep.
Yeah. So you get 2 there.
Yeah.
San Diego's going to be rough.
It is.
It's going to be a rough one. Like you better get at least one of those. I don't know that I expect them to win that series. So I'm looking at that as 3 wins there, and then I'm looking at take 2 of 4 from the Astros. At least split it, which brings me to 5-5.
Well, it's a kind of shocking. I haven't looked at the standings in a while from the standpoint of the AL West, and everybody's pretty good.
Yeah, you got 2 teams behind you that are a game back.
Except for the Angels.
Yeah.
But they're 17-25. But, yeah, I mean, to your point about Chicago, I mean, they win 1 game every 3 or 4 outings. So, I mean, it's probably not realistic to think that. But, they kind of – I kind of feel like they need to. But, look, the way they are, I mean, with just the attrition – with all of the injuries and everything, like how much longer, you mentioned this earlier. I said Rowdy Tellez he's not been great, but like he's been timely, as you said.
Yeah.
Can you expect that to continue?
Are you more curious about the pitching or the offense in this series? I'm still leaning on the pitching going, all right, what are we going to get? Logan Evans is going again, his 4th career start. You're going to get, at least in this opening series, you're going to get Emerson Hancock, who got touched up in his last outing. Brian Wu, who was phenomenal in his last outing. So that's your first series against the Padres, and I'm looking at Wu as all right. That's going to be the likely win just because he's on the hill. Are you going to get a surprise performance out of Emerson Hancock? Maybe Logan Evans surprises the Padres. They haven't seen him. He's only got 3 starts under. I don't know. I keep coming back to 10 games, looking at how each series breaks down. Give me 5.
I'm really curious about the pitching. To your point, Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock. I mean, if those 2 guys shine and just all of a sudden we're talking about them like we were talking about Bryce Miller and Brian Wu last year, amazing. It's just amazing what they've been able to do with their pitching. But again, like we talked about earlier, if you'd have said, look, all of these guys are going to get hurt, and then you're going to have some problems in your rotation. You would have never guessed that they're 23-19. So this will be kind of an interesting one, just because you've got, starting off with a really excellent team, the Padres, and then you go to a team that you probably should take that series, and then finish it off with the hated Houston Astros. And it's 4 games, right? With Houston?
4 games. 3 against San Diego, 3 against the White Sox, 4 against the Astros,
who are 22-20.
Yep.
So just 1 game back, and that's going to be a big one, just to see kind of a measuring stick of where are you with the Astros? They took 1 of 3 from them. Is that right? When they were here in town, or did we take 2?
I have to go back and look.
I just remember we lost a game because
they got both. That was the big comeback. Rosarena kind of saved everything.
Yeah.
Remember the bases loaded walk, the grand slam, then the bases loaded
right.
walk.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, then they lost a game where they did not give up an earned run.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at the White Sox schedule, I mean, yeah, they're not a good team, but I'm just looking at some of their wins. I mean, they blew out the Twins are smoking hot right now. What, 111 in a row? They beat them at one point 9-0. They took a series from Boston, took 2 or 3 from Boston. They took a series against the Astros, took 2 of 3 from the Astros. They took 2 of 3. They won their last 2 series, 2 of 3 from the Reds, 2 of 3 from Miami. So they've beaten some good teams. They've beaten some bad teams. They're a bad team. they were swept in a 4-game series by the Kansas City Royals. So
they've lost 8 in a row, 6 in a row, and 4 in a row this year. So very streaky team. But like you said, they've won 4 of the last 6 games. So yeah, I mean, you just never know what you're going to get. But I feel like you should at least win that series and just kind of, stem the tide a little bit and try to just hang in where you are and just hope for some help as far as the injury bug goes. It's ridiculous.
Well, hopefully Kirby I think they're expecting, barring any setbacks, to be back in by the end of that Astro series, I think. Is that what they targeted after that was done? So we'll see. Should be getting help soon. All right. Meanwhile, will the Seahawks season be judged in comparison to how the Raiders do? We'll get into that next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What does the release of River Craycraft say about the wide receiver room?
It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a bad thing for Craycraft because he's a Coug, a solid player in this league, right? Just a consistent practice squad, special teams. But it also shows that they are interested in some young talent over there, 6'1", 185. So there's competition in that receiver room.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation, and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you got to look at it in a new way. Like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
For Down Territory, Going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with top tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and Mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up at 4 o'clock, our buddy Luke Arkins will join us to talk some Mariner baseball. Stay tuned for that. The text line is there for you, 866-979-3776. Meanwhile, Pete Carroll will be an opponent of the Seahawks in the preseason anyway. How about that? The Raiders and the Seahawks getting together with Pete out there.
I love how he leaked that, and he was so naive about it because he was like, hey, what about the coincidence? Huh? The start of the preseason? And like, I don't think we're supposed to say that, Pete.
Is that what he did? I didn't hear that part.
He just bursted it out like right away, like it was perfully good to talk about. Hey,
no wonder Pearson's so on edge when we're talking. He had to babysit Pete and make sure he didn't, ruin surprises.
Right.
he's monitoring everything that gets said very closely.
Kind of like me talking about the end of the show or divulging some kind of a contest or something like that.
Yeah, anything we want to be announced at the end, we're always leery of you unveiling that at the beginning.
Yeah, and then Mike gets like super jittery about it, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, can we not mention it more than once? I mean,
when doesn't Mike get super jittery? Isn't that a pre-existing condition?
Yeah.
Does he look angry behind me right now?
I'm going to let you two have it out. Go ahead.
Well, I guess that present that you're about to get's not going to be around anymore.
Uh-oh. Did you bring gifts for Matt?
I did. Not from me.
He's the courier.
Oh.
Not the gift.
I think I know what it is. This was
some Star Trek doll.
No, it was what Lefko was all jittery about getting from Ryan Roland Smith.
I had to break into his car.
No, you didn't. Remember, he was asking all those questions?
No, Dave wasn't there. That's why. Ryan was there.
Oh, that's right.
That's why Ryan was there.
Ryan had something in the back of his truck.
We are old.
And he was telling Lefko, yeah, just go get it to give it to Matt. Mm-hmm. And Lefko was very, well, they're going to think I'm breaking into your car. And he was getting very wound up about it. And Ryan kept looking at him going, dude, they're not going to say it. It's in the player's lodge. It's right there. Just grab it and no big deal. And Lefko was kind of going back and forth with him over it.
And what was it that he was grabbing?
Some product that somebody that sponsors Ryan's podcast.
Illegal.
Sounds like weed.
No, it's
I think
not
that's
weed.
what they're talking about.
No.
Lefko was going out there to get some weed.
Yeah, 1970s police officer. It was weed.
It was the pot. Are you on the dope? Yeah. So anyway, no, I think it's some sort of beer or something or seltzer, something that Ryan was getting for free, and he wanted to give it to Matt. So He was asking Lefko to pick it up on his way out, and he wanted Lefko. What did you want him to bring it up to the booth?
Yeah. Why do I have to go get it? You should bring it up there.
Jeez.
So
I thought it was
giving it to you. You want it delivered.
To Matt, I'm the courier, so he could have helped out. I thought it was a ploy to get me injured or, like arrested so I couldn't beat him in pickleball.
Oh, I see.
That was the real
Boy,
motivation.
all the exciting things happen when I'm gone.
Yeah, the back and forth was almost akin to his conversation with Adam about the boat, where it's just back and forth watching, and the look of disbelief on Ryan's face, like, dude, what are you doing? It's not a big deal. Just go get it. So there you go. That's the gift. There's the gift. Meanwhile, we brought this up. The Raiders will be the first opponent of your Seattle Seahawks. It's a preseason game. It feels like they play them every preseason, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's sort of like the Panthers were on the schedule every single year. It feels like the Raiders are a preseason opponent every single year.
Yeah. It's proximity, I think, that they do. We used to play the Niners all the time. That was always, it seemed like every
when you were AFC
preseason.
West.
We were AFC West, and, we're either playing them or the Rams, who were also in the NFC West at that point. But, anyway, just as they are now. But
it's going to be cool, though. I mean, it's preseason. I know you love it. Who knows how much we'll see Geno out there, how much we'll see, because it's the first game of the preseason. So I don't know how much we'll see Geno for the Raiders or Sam Darnold for the Seahawks. We'll see. But Pete was talking about Geno and talking about, why he wanted Geno in Vegas.
What he demonstrated to me, this remarkable connection and spirit to being ready, knowing that the very next play he may be in the game. He never forgot that. And his resolve about that, I thought, was so exceptional that when he got his turn, I was thrilled for him. And when we got our chance to go ahead and make him the starter, I believed in that too. And so this opportunity comes up, and we need a quarterback. And I mean, really, to me, it was just a classic opportunity for us to really transition, with the quarterback position, with the coach, that they see eye to eye on everything.
Yeah, that was very cool. I think he's describing when Russ hit his finger on a helmet. And
mallet finger.
And I think he's got hammer toes, too, as well. But, yeah, I mean, he was ready to go. And he took him on like a 75, 80-yard drive.
It's the Rams, right?
Yeah, and I'm with Pete on that. I mean, that was remarkable because, backup quarterback is difficult, man. You, especially sitting behind Russ, you got to really concentrate because Russ not only was a rep hog, from what we understand, he wanted to run, and I don't blame him. Mm-hmm. If you're in practice, you want to take all the reps, so that just means the backup's hardly getting any, but then he just was healthy, so I mean, it would be easy being a backup quarterback to kind of drift off and not pay as much attention, and Geno obviously did. So that was very impressive, and I'm sure that stuck in Pete's mind.
Well, and apparently those two were still in contact after Pete left. Yeah. Geno and Pete were, and Pete talked about what he and Geno talked about during their regular phone calls last season.
Supporting Geno, supporting him, and whatever came up. But basically, I was, just I love the guy, and I was just hoping he would do well and have a great experience, and knowing that it was going to be a challenge and difficult, that things were changing and all that. I've grown, think about it. Geno was a backup for all those years. I don't know, was it 4 straight years where he hardly even played? I mean, Geno played 15 or 16 games in about a 5 or 6 year span there, whatever it was. And so there was a lot of times when we had to do stuff together to keep him going. And he was keeping me going, but I was keeping him going. And
it's pretty cool. I mean, I wonder where those conversations went. Like, hey, coach, if you get a job next year, I want to come play for you. Yeah. Some of that had to go on, but I mean, it's nice to see that they have that relationship, and Geno, made it clear he didn't want to be here anymore, and he found a nice landing spot with somebody that he believes in, that believes in him. So good on him.
Yeah. I mean, Geno never, we loved Russ. Mm-hmm. And up until the end, but I mean, still love him for everything that he did. But Geno just never really got to know, But Pete knows him, and he's right, man. There was really 5 years where Geno just didn't get to play at all. And he came in, and that first year starting, man, he led the league in completion percentage. 69.8, and last year he was 70. So he is still, and I think he's using his legs. He uses his legs wisely. as far as taking off, running, and he's pretty fast. He hasn't aged that much. So, yeah, I mean, I got no problem with him having success with Pete Carroll down there.
Yeah, he's just a guy that was harder to, like, I literally have never spoken to Geno outside of those group, post-game where we're all gathered there in the interview room after the games for home games. And I've certainly talked to him in those moments, but it's never been an interview on the show or a one-on-one. He just doesn't do it. He never did.
No, and you know what?
I never got to know him. I don't really even know what kind of a guy he is other than what other people tell us.
Don't either. Yeah, I mean, and I was on the plane with him, and he always carried himself with, he always had the headphones on and the glasses. But you know what? So what? He's not good at the media part of it. Russ was particularly good, right? Some guys are good at that, and some just aren't. They're not signed up for that, and that was Geno. But yeah, so I mean, it makes it was kind of hard to get any kind of attachment with him. You know, like you really love this guy.
No, I liked how he played for the most part. Certainly he had his flaws, but he's a guy that I didn't have a strong attachment to. And look, in knowing that he wanted out, that he told the team, trade me,
right,
that makes that parting a little easier.
Yes.
So
yeah, it does. And I don't really blame him.
Yeah, if you didn't want to be here, I don't want a player here that's going, this thing, I don't want to be a part of this. Well, good. I don't want them to be a part of it. Get them a new home if that's how it goes. So we'll see how he does, but I'll definitely be rooting for Pete. Meanwhile, a boost to the depleted Mariners rotation could be imminent. We'll get into that coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me? Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at washingtonaccidentbooks.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news this August. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is Jill Schlesinger. May is Military Appreciation Month, and I know how much I appreciate the military. I married into a military family. I hear from so many members of the military, and Navy Federal Credit Union wants us to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. If you're active duty, a veteran, or part of a military family, you're eligible to join. At Navy Federal Credit Union, the members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines and I was able to sleep through the night. And that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that, you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mariners have the day off. They begin a 10-game road trip tomorrow in San Diego. So we're looking at this rotation. I think the rotation for the first series is going to be two of your young guys, Logan Evans, Emerson Hancock, and Brian Wu will be the anchor. He's the one you're looking at going, okay, that's the win. That's the one you got to get. But hopefully reinforcements are just right around the corner, barring any setbacks. Justin Hollander on with Bump and Stacy talking about, a timeline as it pertains to George Kirby when he may be back.
George is supposed to throw his next rehab outing on the 16th. We're kind of taking it outing by outing and seeing where he's at, how he feels. So we'll see how George does on the 16th and how he feels afterwards. No guarantee that we would activate him for the next start in the big leagues. It just depends on how it goes. We want to make sure George is ready.
So that's tomorrow.
I think George is by nature kind of a grumpy guy, on game day.
Yeah.
He looks pissed off.
Yeah.
And he looked extra pissed off when we were down at spring training, knowing that he's not going to be able to start the season. So I can't wait to see Furious George get back up on the mound.
Yeah, Justin went on to talk about what their expectations are for him right now.
We do want to keep in mind George didn't have a spring training. So the things that you experience over 6 starts or 7 starts in spring training, trying to condense those down into 2 or 3 starts in a AAA environment, maybe not the smartest thing we can do unless we're really confident that he's good to go. So we want to make sure that we're being smart, playing the long game with George, who's got a lot of days in front of him, and we don't want to think about just the next big league game in front of us.
And that's what we were talking about yesterday, Dave, in comparing him and Logan. And I was saying exactly that he had an abbreviated spring. We were down there the first week of March, and that's when he got shut down when we were down there. Mm-hmm. He hasn't pitched since. these, up until these rehab starts with Tacoma. So he had no spring after that. He didn't have the start of the season, whereas Logan had a full spring, had a full start to the season. Then so they're on different trajectories in terms of building up to the big league level and being ready.
When do you expect him to get back to being George Kirby? Because I don't think it's fair to say, okay, we got George Kirby. He had 33 starts last year.
Yeah,
I mean,
and he'll have 3 rehab, assuming everything goes well tomorrow.
Yeah.
He'll have 3 rehab starts under his belt,
right,
at the minor league level. So, I could see them saying, "Look, we got I don't know. I'm just throwing a number, 80 pitch limit. We got an 80 pitch limit or 5 innings, whichever comes first. Obviously, if he gets in trouble, things like that, high stress innings, that could alter it. But I'm sure there's a plan in place. Like, okay, here's what we're going to do in the beginning. We're going to work them slowly, just like they're doing with Brash. Now, Brash was even more elongated in terms of how long it had been since it was September of 23.
Yeah,
that guy had last pitched.
You can't say that enough.
Yeah,
because I'm like, wait, how long?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so you got a couple guys that are, one is back, the other on his way back, but you have to treat both with kid gloves, and you got to take your time with him. Now Logan, as we said, full spring, started the season, all games under his belt. Hollander gave the latest update on him.
With Logan, he threw a bullpen yesterday. It was 92, 94. I think his last pitch in the pen was 95. He said it was 90% effort. So I don't. I was told there'd be no math, but that seems good. He felt good afterwards, which is obviously the most important thing beyond the velocity. And we'll just see where Logan's at over the next couple of days, and when he's ready for his next bullpen, and go from there. Again, we feel like it's going great so far. There are injuries, and you can never truly predict. It's art and science when he's going to be back, but we feel like he's definitely on the right track.
So he's talking about throwing somewhere in the triple digits then, eventually. If that's 90%, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's upper 90s. He's hit triple digits a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good news, and for all by all accounts, he came out of that throwing session just fine, felt good. So that's great news. You just sort of daydream now about what you've had for the past couple of years. I mean, this rotation's been remarkably healthy for the most part, and now this is the year it's like, all right, here's karma. Here's what you get for all that health. This guy's down. This guy's down. And then we're going to take some of your position players too.
Yeah.
So
kidding.
Robles is down, and Raley's down, and Dylan Moore's down, and Ryan Bliss is down, and Dylan Moore's back, but the other guys are still out. In Raleigh and Bliss and
Bliss is for
Robles.
the year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I thought for sure Robles would be. But, I mean, imagine when those guys start to come back. And imagine, if you can get – if Emerson Hancock, continues, or maybe it's Logan Evans, but you get Kirby and Logan back, and then all of a sudden, you're back at full strength. And it's been amazing that they've been able to hold on to the lead in the AL West with
now, Bryce, I mean, you're missing 3 starters right now. Because now Bryce is on the IL along with Kirby and Logan. So you're down 3 of that ultimate 5 that was the envy of everybody in baseball, that starting 5, best 5 in baseball. Now you're down 3 of them.
Right.
So we'll see what goes on there. One more from Justin Hollander, though, just talking about excited what they're seeing out of Julio right now.
I think Julio's in a really good place right now. Obviously, it was a little bit of a slow start over the first couple weeks in April. If you look at what he's done in May, the quality of contact, the amount of contact, I think his defense over the last month or so has been game-changing. I don't want to wing it off the top of my head. I think he's on pace for like a 6 wins above replacement season. That's kind of what superstars do. Again, I would love it if it were 8 or 10 or 12 or whatever. I don't know if that's super realistic for anybody, but he's off to a good start, and he's in a really good place right now. And I think we're seeing the beginnings of one of those streaks for Julio where it's otherworldly.
Yeah, to his point, I mean, the defense speaks for itself. Incredible. But, the month of May right now, he's 286, on-base percentage 327. He's got 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, a couple walks in there. But, the 3 home runs, I mean, he's starting to become – and it's interesting, with the story that we did earlier is that the time kind of caught up with the money. Meaning, like when you see these guys sign these big, long-term, huge deals, 3, 4, 5 years later, all of a sudden it starts to look like a good deal for the team.
Yeah, he's and we'll talk to Luke Arkins, who's going to join us at the top of the hour. But more importantly, you look at well, it's not more importantly, but it's a definite positive. In the month of May, He's got 6 strikeouts. 6.
Yeah,
and they
right.
played how many games? In May? 1,
12.
2, 12 games, 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, and he had a 5 or 6 game streak. 7 game streak where he had no strikeouts.
Yeah, so I mean he's
been good.
Yeah, that's trending the right way. He's got a 3-game hit streak. He's had hits in 7 of his last 8 games. I think going into what was it, the Blue Jays series, or which series was it? He had hits in 14 of the previous 18. So he's been consistent in getting on. Not everyone's a home run, but he's got more home runs at this point than he had certainly at this point last year, and he's striking out far less, which is huge for him because we've certainly seen a lot of swing and miss in his career. So seeing that discipline up at the plate is all good. Meanwhile, as we said, he had some interesting points about Julio, about what he's being paid. We're going to catch up with our guy Luke Arkins, talk Mariners and everything else going on there. He's going to join us next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later on your timeline. No showings, no double moves. Plus, Orchard handles all home repairs for you, attracting buyers. Buy before you sell and get top dollar with Orchard. Visit Orchard.com for your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
This just in. The NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
This Memorial Day, turn up the heat with the Home Depot. Find the perfect grill and patio set to keep the cookouts coming all season long. Grill up a feast with the Next Grill 4-burner gas grill, only $229. And complete your space with the stylish Glen Ridge Falls 7-piece dining set, now on special buy for just $499 with free delivery. Take your Memorial Day cookout to the next level all summer long with the Home Depot. See homedepot.com/delivery for more details.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
It's time to make your yard the best on the block with Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot. Start by keeping the weeds at bay with Earthgrow mulch, now 4 for $10. Then keep your garden thriving with Miracle Grow garden soil, now on special buy, 4 for $10. Give your neighbors yard envy all summer long with Memorial Day savings going on now at the Home Depot.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, as we've talked about, the release of the NFL schedule is a big deal for every team out there, every team doing videos in honor of the unveiling of the schedules. And the Colts did a video that they have since had to take down because they referenced Minecraft in there. They also made a reference to Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill because that's their first. They opened the season against Miami, so they released a video that was intended to be a spoof of the video game Minecraft, revealed the team's season opener against Miami with an image of a dolphin wearing a number 10 jersey labeled Hill, swimming along before he's stopped by a Coast Guard boat with a blaring siren. So they've taken it down and said their statement is, we removed our schedule release video because it exceeded our rights with Microsoft and included an insensitive clip involving Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill. We sincerely apologize to Microsoft and Tyreek. Meanwhile, finals in the world of baseball today. Braves beat the Nationals 5-2. It was a shutout. Twins shutting out the Orioles 4-0. The Reds take care of the White Sox 7-1, and it was the Jays falling to the Rays 8-3. The final.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Time to talk some baseball, Mariner baseball. Even though they've got the day off, they begin their series tomorrow. Game 1 of a 10-game series. 3 against the Padres, 3 against the White Sox, and 4 against the Houston Astros. Here to talk everything Mariners, a man who does a great job. If you follow him on Twitter, really good stuff. Always coming up with great nuggets and always helping us out if we ever wonder aloud, I wonder what their average is here or what they do against this team. This guy,
sometimes if I say something stupid,
he'll correct you.
Yeah.
He'll correct you through us
Appreciate
on Twitter.
That, Luke.
Luke Arkins is with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Bob and Dave. I don't think I've ever corrected Dave.
Well, you should.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Okay.
You're slipping.
Well, that might be true. But I don't think I've actually ever corrected you.
Well, yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Maybe you should.
That's
Luke.
a win for me. Yeah, maybe you should start. Yeah.
Well, Luke, let's start.
Checking Bob. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Fact checking Dave.
Let's start by getting your take on this team, what your expectations were coming into the season, and more importantly, how surprised are you that they're still sitting there a game up in the AL West. They're in first place despite 3/5 of your rotation now on the injured list. Robles on the injured list. Raleigh on the injured list. Bliss is on the list. Dylan Moore was there for a bit. JP just missed a game because of a sore. I mean, they have just been riddled with injuries, yet here they are. How surprising is that to you?
Not that surprising that they're in first place, because I think the division, the top teams in the division are relatively close to each other. But we'll see about sustainability. I guess the Mariners are fortunate that the Rangers and the Astros are not hitting that well, and the Mariners have overall. But it's surprising that the Astros and Rangers are pitching much better than the Mariners. And, of course, we know that's because of the injuries and some guys in the bullpen that are maybe not performing up to expectations.
Hey, Luke, tell us your take on Julio. I mean, now all of a sudden we're talking about the fact that he's having a good month, but also, maybe there's a little bit less pressure on Julio that, everybody's talking about that contract, and, eventually the contract catches up to you after a few years and you're like, oh, now it's a bargain. But just, what you've seen from him, and, do you think he's starting to turn it around for good?
I think he's turning the corner. He appears to me that he's a hitter who's evolving. You hear a lot, well, he's young, and this is his fourth season, so in that sense, he's not young, although
right.
he is by age. But it appears to me that he's maturing as a hitter, and I think he's working on things that just haven't clicked yet. We're seeing fewer strikeouts. He's walked more overall. He's reaching bases at a good rate. He's not quite barreling as many balls as maybe you would prefer. He's hitting overall for the season. He's been hitting more ground balls, about 5% more, and then about 5% less line drive. So that's not ideal. But to me, it's like a guy that's he's listening to Edgar. He's trying to change a few things, and it just hasn't clicked yet, but he's on the right path. And that's what I would expect moving forward, that he will – I heard the segment where Justin Hollander was talking, and I think he's right. I think he's turning this page. Now, whether he can lock in and sustain, we shall see. But I'm not too concerned at all about Julio.
Yeah, and you had an interesting little thing you tweeted out the other day about where he ranks in terms of pay. That people get mad when you call him a superstar. I said it earlier, and immediately I got a text from somebody. He's not a superstar. All right. Well, we'll see what he ultimately becomes. But the notion that he's being paid as a superstar may be a bit flawed based on what you put out there. For the people that aren't on Twitter, didn't see what you put out there about how he's being compensated. Give us some insight there.
Well, first off, his overall salary this year is about $20 million, and that ranks 60th in baseball per Spotrac. And his average annual value over the 7 years of his initial deal is $17.4 million, which is it's in the 90s when you rank it. And so really, and then there's an extension that could kick in 2030, and that's all based on performance, MVP votes, placing in the ballots, and then also awards and all-star selections and that sort of thing, Silver Slugger. And so to me, this is a very team-friendly deal. I think the max he'll make average annual value on the extension is about $25 million a year, and that's 5 years from now. That's if the extension even goes in place. I think that it's a great deal for the Mariners. And, in Julio's position, he was a young player and he's getting offered this big-time money. Why would he not take it?
Where do you have him ranked as far as a outfielder or center fielder or just outfielder in general? He's been really good defensively.
Well, defensively, I'd say he's top 5.
Yeah.
And there's some guys that are just freaks out there in center field, but Julio is certainly a top 5 defender. Should be a top 3 Gold Glove nominee year in and year out, and I think he's going to reach that point. As far as center fielders, I would also say he's a top 5 guy. I know right now he's, I think his numbers are pretty good, and like I said before, I think they're going to get better. So I think he's an asset to the Mariners, and whether he's a superstar or not, that's just social media debate. It doesn't really matter. But, when I put that out, people says, well, he's not a superstar. So, okay, well, I didn't say he was a superstar. He's not getting paid like one either, so what's the problem?
Yeah, they just get mad if you use that term. There's a segment, as you know, of the fan base, Luke, that just wants to be right about anything that's negative. Like, told you they stink, told you he's not a star, it's a weird element that exists out there. But I'm curious to get your take on, we came into this season, and I personally had a lot of concerns about the infield defense because you were going to have a platoon at first, which you have. Polanco was going to be your third baseman, and we thought it was going to be Dylan Moore, Ryan Bliss platoon type situation at second. Now some of that is settled. Ben Williamson is now your third baseman. You still have the platoon at first. You don't have an everyday second baseman. So what is your opinion of the defense we've seen specifically in the infield?
Overall, I would say it's below average. When you look at outs above average, I know people don't like defensive metrics, but that's the one that I hang my hat on. And third base, slightly below average. I think it's tough to gauge the individual players because when you look like Ben Williamson and Miles Mastrobuoni, and then Polanco stood over there for a little bit too, and Dylan Moore and Rivas and all that. But overall, the position has been below average. Now, I think with Ben Williamson, the longer he's over there, it'll start to look much better. First base, they're, between Solano and Tellez, they are average together. Second base has been decent with Dylan Moore and Rivas and Ryan Bliss before he was injured. Shortstop, actually, JP is actually rating below average. And now outs above average is just sort of it's a range-based metric. It's the ground you cover, not so much your actual glove work. So altogether, that is a little concerning, especially when your pitching staff is not lights out, and when your bullpen is not a strikeout leader. Really, I think their bullpen is one of the lowest strikeout rates in baseball.
What's been a pleasant surprise for you, Luke? A guy or maybe a category where you didn't expect the Mariners to be good, and they are?
Well, I think Jorge Polanco is certainly the first thing that pops in my mind. My expectation was if he was healthy, I thought he could be a league average player. That you look at his numbers last year, they were not good overall, but he wasn't far from being an average player on the road, and he was just horrible at T-Mobile Park. But so far, he's been good everywhere. And so certainly he is a guy that is just what a surprise, and what a good story. And the other one is Matt Brash. I have to admit, I was a skeptic on Twitter about whether he would be back in April, and sure as heck he was basically back in April, and he's done very well so far. So that's another good news story so far.
Well, just overall, offensively speaking, with the way guys are playing right now, whether it's Polanco or Raleigh or J.P. Crawford, what have you, what's your level of confidence that it's sustainable? Maybe not to the exact level it's at, but that it'll just be a good offense throughout the season.
There's a couple areas that are concerning. Now, Polanco, I'm really happy about what he's doing, but he has OPS plus of 199. Now, just a quick and dirty explanation of OPS plus, it's a league average. League average is 100, so 199 means he's 99% better than the average player. His last 3 years or so is, I think it's under 110. So he's been above average, but not nearly 100% over the league average. Other than that, I think the other core guys I feel pretty good about. Now, Cal Raleigh, his OPS plus is 170. Will that drop? Probably some, but I think he's still he's still ascending. So it's hard to know where that'll be. JP is at 123. That's kind of where he was 2 years ago. So that's believable. And then Randy Arozarena is at 138. That's a little high, but not ridiculously high. And then Julio's 112, and I expect that's going to go up. So in that sense, there is a core of guys that are pretty good. I guess the concern is Rowdy Tellez. I heard you guys talking like he's had timely hitting. That also could be considered lucky hitting. Will Honestly,
Yeah.
he strikes out a lot. Leo Rivas, what a nice addition he's been. Now, whether he's going to have an on-base percentage at 450 in August, we'll see. But he's done all the right things right now. And, of course, later in the season, they'll get Luke Raley back. Not later in the season, hopefully not too far, and it's maybe by the All-Star break, hopefully. So there's an addition, and maybe they get Victor Polanco back later in the season. So those two guys coming back will feel like, to a degree, like deadline-type additions. That wouldn't be enough, but it would be a positive for that. So overall, I think they can be decent, but they'll have to be really good on the road. And we'll see here in this upcoming road trip whether they can do that or not.
We heard Seitzer, I did anyway, heard him do an interview the other day, the hitting coach, and somebody was asking about, he said, engage your core, and I think it was Jen Mueller asked him, well, what does that mean? How do you explain that in layman's terms? And he said, if you've got a gut and you're about to take a photo, you kind of suck it in a little bit. I thought that was hilarious, but also it just kind of made me realize how, coaching, it's just about saying the right things, right? And I'm just curious your take on how much of it has been, you mentioned lucky hitting or a guy just, clicking or whatever, but as far as the message that's coming from the hitting coaches, it seems like it's simplified and it seems to be working.
Yeah, and I would say that I need to engage my core more often when we're taking pictures. I hadn't really thought about that because I have quite a bit of core to suck
I'm
in,
with you on that.
But it's always, to me, it's sort of debatable how much does a coach matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't tell you who Ichiro's hitting coach was or Edgar's, right?
Right.
But there's definitely coaching matters, and it probably matters more to some players than the other. I would say, just looking at where the Mariners were when they made the change last year and where they are now, if I had to pick a few hitters who I believe are something rang with them, it would be Cal Raleigh, striking out way less than he did before, and the batting average is up pretty high for him, 248. That's still pretty good when you look at his on base in that. Julio is the other guy. I sort of mentioned that before, and Dylan Moore is another guy who strikes out quite a bit still, but he's definitely having a great year. And I would also say with Dylan Moore, I think they're trying to maybe protect him against right-handed pitching when they can, because he is significantly better against lefties. It's just been the way it has his whole career. But those are the guys that hit me as I can see something there. Yeah. That doesn't mean that they're not helping the other guys. And you're right, Dave. Messaging is so important. It's just sometimes somebody, I can just tell you from my time in the Navy that sometimes you just hear somebody say something to you and you go, oh, yeah, you're right. And then it just clicks and then you're on your way.
Right.
Hey, Luke, last one before we let you go. Just give me a quick thought on Randy Arozarena. He's an interesting guy to watch. You look at his on-base versus his average, and the disparity is pretty stark. I mean, he's hitting 236, but he's got a 385 on base. He's tied for the team lead in walks, so he can go up there and swing at some of the worst pitches, yet he finds his way to battle back and work a walk. He's an interesting guy to watch for me. But just your take on what you've seen from him.
Well, he certainly is entertaining, that's for sure. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased. The defense, but as far as at the plate, yeah, I think he's a great asset to them. And I know how you feel, Bob and Dave, about the off season, but really he was a guy they picked up at the deadline that was sort of an add-on for this season. And he's doing exactly what I think they need from him. I'm pretty pleased with the guy. Like I say, the defense is a little suspect at times, but that's fine as long as he's getting on base, he's stealing bases. He seems to be a positive impact on the team, and he's still leading the team in stolen bases. So he's doing a lot of good things for them on the bases, I believe.
Luke Arkins, great stuff. He's a great follow on Twitter. It's at Luke_Arkins. And he's got a great newsletter, Mariners Consigliere newsletter out there for you hardcores. Really, really good stuff. A great follow. Luke, as always, appreciate you joining us and always appreciate you popping on Twitter or X, I guess, with the information when we're wondering aloud on the air what this number might be or what that number might be.
Let's ask Luke.
I'll look at my Twitter page during the commercial break, and there's Luke with the answer. He's on it. He's on it. We appreciate you, my friend.
I'll keep a closer eye on Dave.
Yeah, that's right.
You better do that, Luke.
Yeah, he doesn't have a Twitter page, but you can just send the correction to me, and I'll pass it along to him.
That's right.
Okay.
Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Luke. We appreciate it, man. There you go. There's Luke Arkins again for big baseball fans. He's a great follow at Luke_Arkins on Twitter. Meanwhile, Mariners 42 games. They have the exact same record as last year after 42 games, 23-19. Do you have more optimism about this team or last year's team?
Way more this year.
Do you?
Yeah, just because. We were talking about that with Luke about. The messaging, and he referenced something that happened to him in the Navy, and I think it's the same thing if you're taking a golf lesson. Mm-hmm. For me, it was in football. It was some words that coaches said that just made
most of them can't be repeated here.
Well, yeah, those are some of the magnifier words, but I mean, I think that's the big difference that. That they understand because they're actually getting it done offensively. And we got to recalculate the numbers. It was a couple weeks ago, but, we did a thing where you looked up the offense and the defense or, the pitching numbers, and it was just like night and day from last year. And so
exactly opposite of what we expected coming into the season. We all expected dominant pitching. Can the offense give them enough? Can they support those guys enough to make it count?
And I think it's here to stay. Now I'm not saying that Polanco is gonna continue at this rate. Is he batting over 300? I think.
I think he's still over 300.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jorge is hitting 324.
Yeah. So
373. But he's come back a bit. I mean, which you expect. I mean, it was not such a ridiculous clip.
Yeah.
And the same is true for the on base of Rivas. It wasn't going to be 500. Now it's down to 455. He stinks.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Some of the numbers you looked at and go, that's awesome. I love that it's happening. That's not going to be what it is.
I don't know.
The entire season.
I get the sense, and there's just been a number of times where I've looked at, a player like Julio, where he had the one at bat, and I want to say that was last month or at the end or the very beginning of this month.
You're talking about when he went up against Mason Miller and had the horrible first swing.
Yeah. And, you see those kinds of moments, and you can tell that the messaging is getting through. And so, to me, I feel much better about this. The other thing is, we talk about the pitching numbers. It's not because we had anybody that's suspect as far as in that rotation. It's because they've been hurt and they haven't been there, and they've had problems. It's kind of concerning with Bryce Miller, but that's going to come back when they get the players back off the IL. So
that's my only hesitation. And which team do you have more confidence in? Same exact record after 42 games. Who do you have more confidence in? Well, the pitching was rolling, and then Wu was just getting back with the team last year at this time. He didn't pitch until May. So we were seeing the dominance of the rotation. I feel like now I'm looking at a team that's just so beleaguered with injuries. I mean, 3 of your 5 starters are down. Mm-hmm. Your leadoff hitter, your right fielder, Victor Robles, is down. The other guy who plays out in right field, who had a very productive year last year, and Luke Raley, is down. Ryan Bliss, who we didn't come into the season counting on, but looked like he was going to be a plus defensively, certainly at second base. He's done for the year. So I'm waiting to see how do they bounce back from all of these injuries? Who actually comes back? I don't know if Robles is getting back or not. They showed him in the dugout the other day. Was he wearing like some weird contraption? Because he was sleeveless, but it looked like a brace
for a few weeks.
Yeah. So he had that thing with like a block that's in between his arm and his side. He's been wearing that since that happened.
Yeah, so
I'm kind of skeptical on that one.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath on his return, but it's not about are they good or are they not good. It's just about, are they whole? Are they going to be even close to whole? at some point you just can't overcome that many injuries. So that level of attrition is hard to overcome. So we'll see how guys are able to bounce back and contribute. So that's my only hesitation in saying, yeah, I feel more confident this year than last year. I was pretty damn confident in what that rotation was doing last year, and then they developed that 10-game lead, and you felt like, oh, they're rolling, and we know how it ended. So we don't need to revisit that. Meanwhile, a special time and a special day this week for El Hombre. Michael Bradley, he's going to join us next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How are you?
I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for my new friends at Harley Exteriors. They're a local company serving all of Western Washington for the past 23 years. I'm really excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my kind of people. I had Ray, Chris, and Nick out to my house just to see what they could do for us. You see, we've been in this house of ours for 24 years now, and virtually every window in our home has a broken seal. So Harley Exteriors, they have an exclusive, high-quality Euro vinyl Olympic Series window, and it's manufactured right here in Washington. That's important. These windows are designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. And it's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And right now, through the month of May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. So Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. And I'm proud to be working with Ray, Chris, and Nick at Harley Exteriors. It's a team you can get behind. So get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more. They're right here in the Puget Sound. Give them a call at 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY. Or you can go to harleyexteriors.com.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet Plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls?
I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Ward C. Moeller & Associates reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Please make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Ward C. Moeller & Associates. Family owned since 1955, providing top quality services for all your land surveying needs.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Yeah, you know what you can get me, Pee-wee? What? El Hombre.
That was a catastrophe.
I know.
That's a new low.
Yeah.
Roz is better.
El Hombre.
The natural meets Rudy meets... I don't even know how to describe it.
El Hombre.
Special time, special day, but he is here nonetheless.
For a special guy.
For a special guy, indeed. He's with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. He is the one, the only El Hombre, Michael Bradley, here with us. How are you, my friend?
What's happening, everybody?
It's the last time you're going to hear that from me. I'll tell you that. Calling him
special guy?
Called you a special guy.
Yeah, you must be off your meds.
Michael, are you somebody that anxiously awaits the arrival of the football schedule and celebrates it and talks to your friends about it and debate win-loss?
No, not at all. I mean, the schedule is what it is. I mean, if some people argue that the draft is a big nothing, I think that the schedule release is a big nothinger. So it's like, these are the games. This is when they're going to be played. And you can sit back and go, oh, this is a win, that's a loss. And then because of injuries and teams play better and whatever, all of a sudden it all makes no sense whatsoever. So I just say, all right, the Eagles open up against who do they open up against? Dallas on Thursday the 4th. That'll be fun. Let's go from there.
How do you feel about the overseas games? I know somebody's getting screwed on a home game, but as far as like taking the whole thing internationally, what are your thoughts there? They're trying to conquer the world.
Aren't we at the point where the Jaguars are playing all 8 of their home games overseas because nobody wants to see them play in Jacksonville?
Exactly.
Look, they're eventually going to have an NFL division in Europe. I think what they're trying to do by playing all these games is figure out which cities are the 4 teams that they're going to want to put in there. I look, it makes sense from a business standpoint. And, I don't mind coming back from Mass on a Sunday and having a football game on while I'm getting a little work done on a Sunday morning and watching some football. So as long as they don't put them on streaming services, I'm okay.
Yeah.
We were complaining about that as well, and they called us old men.
Yeah.
Who's they? The people that haven't accomplished anything?
Yeah. People that are sitting around texting into an afternoon show during the workday.
Yeah, you got a lot going on, guys. Get after it. Yes, okay, there's a latte with your name on it. At the end of the day, celebrate.
Yeah, the streaming thing, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole again, but it just, I embrace technology. I love it. I love advancements, making things more streamlined and easier and smaller if you talk cell phones and VCRs like Dave had. But, this is not something that makes anything easier, better, faster.
No, the interface is awful.
Yeah, it goes the other way. It's the opposite. So it's, to me, not an old person thing. It's a common sense thing. If you're somebody that sits and watches a game and never strays from it when the commercials come on or halftime or any of that, okay. But I'm not that guy. As soon as the commercial hits, I'm hitting the remote, I'm hitting the back button, or I'm hitting the guide, and invariably that knocks me out of that app, and then I got to log back in, watch the wheels spin. It's just not. It's not convenient. It's not faster. It's not more streamlined. It's just not better.
Newer is not always better. See Coke, new. So this is not a situation where we're saying, oh, we're afraid of technologies. I think I got like 7 streaming service subscriptions in addition to a cable bill. It's a phone number every month. So I'm just saying that I understand how it all works, but it's not easy. I don't want to be saying, okay, I got to get out of HBO Max to get into Netflix to go back to Hulu. No, give me the chance to. I mean, I've got. When it comes to watching sports, I've got ADDD. So I'm like in between plays going back and forth between games.
Have you been following the Aaron Rodgers saga? And it's starting to all of a sudden look like, and they're on the schedule for the Seahawks. Was it week 2? I think we're at Pittsburgh.
Yes.
If you had to guess, you're not a betting man, but do you think Aaron Rodgers is playing, and do you think he's going to play for the Steelers? The Stillers.
Well, if he's going to play, he's going to play for the Steelers, and that's guaranteed. I mean, the entire carousel has stopped going. They've closed down the arcade. Everybody's gone home. So if he's going to play, he's going to walk into the Pittsburgh situation, and we're going to find out about it in the next couple of weeks because he's got to sign a contract so he can get ready for training camp. I love the memes. They keep showing him in front of Pittsburgh. They put him in front of Pittsburgh landmarks. He just joined some dog track of a golf course as a member. He's at this what are they, Sheets out there they call it. That's their convenience store that's inferior to the Wawa we have here in the Philadelphia area. So if he's going to play and he's given no indication that he doesn't want to play, don't you think if he was going to retire, he would have been had a big party and given everybody mushrooms and had a good time. So I think that he's coming back, and it's going to be with the Steelers.
Yeah. I have a feeling I know your thoughts on this, but I need to ask you anyway. The news that, Pete Rose, Joe Jackson, 7 other members of the 1919 Chicago Black Sox, 6 other former players, 1 coach, all are now eligible to be voted on for the Hall of Fame. Doesn't mean they're going to be on the ballot, but they've been removed from the permanently ineligible list and will become eligible for Hall of Fame consideration. What's your feeling about that?
First off, they can't be considered until December of 2027.
Right.
And it's going to be done by the Veterans Committee or whatever they call it now.
The Eras Committee.
They got to get the Eras Committee. They got to, if they had let Rose in, it's going to be called the Errors Committee. But he's going to have to get 12 out of 15 votes, which is not going to be easy. You know how I feel about Rose. There's a big sign on the door of every clubhouse. Anybody gambling doesn't get in. Now, Joe Jackson, I love his song, Is She Really Going Out With Him? So I think that's a chance for him to get in.
Oh, well done. Well done.
All of your texters and people from the streaming world doesn't know what I was going to say. You should annotate my stuff so that people can understand with my inside jokes. Shoeless Joe Jackson, I'm rather agnostic on, simply because he was so far before I even had any consciousness about baseball, and I didn't know a lot about 1919 baseball. It's pretty clear Arnold Rothstein fixed the World Series. What did he do? He hit 340 or something.
Hit 375 and hit the only home run that either team hit. in that
'cause
series.
Back then, the baseball was like a bunch of old socks that were rubber banded together. So
Yeah,
hitting
and-
a home run was no mean feat. So I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say. Joe Jackson. I mean, the only quote unquote documentary I have on Joe Jackson is Field of Dreams, and he seemed like a pretty good guy. So let him in.
You never saw 8 Men Out?
Yeah, I did see Eight Men Out. That wasn't as important to me as Field of Dreams.
Oh, that's a good movie. Yeah,
It is. I know.
Obviously, not having been around at that time, you look at his numbers and you look at the fact that he hit 375 in that series and didn't commit any errors. Same with Buck Weaver, hit 324, committed no errors, yet they were part of that team that supposedly threw the series. So, and I know they both screamed about their innocence and the whole thing. I don't know. It's interesting to see what it does. And I think John Morosi told us yesterday there are 16 members of the Eras Committee. Whether they get 12 votes or not, it's going to be fascinating. But would you be opposed to these guys being in with, I don't know if you're going to have the asterisk or just some plaque next to him that says, hey, here's what Pete Rose admitted to doing. This is a man who gambled on baseball. He's the all-time hits king, but he's also a man who gambled on baseball, admitted as much, and something that it's a museum. It's history. It's the history of baseball, of which both of these guys are massive parts of. So, would you be up for them being there with that sort of acknowledgement of why they hadn't been in for so long?
No, not at all. I mean, you want to include that in the history? Yeah. Here's why Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame. Here's why the guy had the most hits of all time. And let's face it, he was I think he was an all-star at third base, second base, first base, left field. He was a tremendous baseball player, and I hated his guts until he joined the Phillies, and then I loved him because he helped us win a World Series. But you can't, to me, a ban is a ban is a ban. It's not like we're going to ban you. Okay, you died, we'll let you back in. I don't believe it. It should be part of it. He bet on his own team. And if he bet on him to win, there's no way he didn't bet on him to lose too. And if he bet on him to win, did that impact the way he managed? Did he put guys' careers at risk by maybe having a pitcher pitch an extra inning when he shouldn't have, or maybe playing somebody who was hurt and wasn't completely capable? So I don't want to hear about Rose. He's out, and I'm hardcore. 94 to 2006. If those were your main years as a player, you're not in either because you were doing steroids.
He's hard line, ladies and gentlemen. There's no buckling with El Hombre. Michael Bradley is with us each and every week, generally Tuesdays at 5 p.m., but we had to shift some things around this week. So we appreciate it always, Michael. Oh, by the way, you can find him on Twitter, at Daily Hombre on Twitter. Have a great rest of the weekend, or a great weekend, I should say, and we'll talk to you next week.
So long, suckers.
There he goes, everybody. He's hardline. You played in your production years were 94 to, what do you say, 06? You're out.
Yeah.
He's not voting for you even if they weren't implicated. Sorry, you're on the ballot. You played during that time, and that's where your production was. You're out.
What about the clean living guys during that era?
He feels they're all complicit, Dave.
Okay.
He's a little more hardcore than I am on that. I'll say that. Coming up, there's a conspiracy theory about the NFL schedule. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. It's coming up with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Most of the lists I've seen for the Seahawks, at least in terms of where the league views them, have not been great. What are the encouraging signs?
The encouraging lists are top running backs of 2026 free agent class. Top right tackles in 2026 class. There's Abe Lucas. Top edge rushers in 2026 class. There's Boye Mafe. By position, you know what you see, Salk? A Seahawk. A Seahawk, a Seahawk, a Seahawk.
Every day at 7:45, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Hey, Brock Heward here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
One of the greatest bands in rock history, The Who, present The Song Is Over, the North American Farewell Tour. See Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, The Who, performing at Climate Pledge Arena September 25th. Pre-sale for City Card members begins Tuesday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. The Who, for the very last time. For more, visit thewho.com.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimer.
Introducing frequent flights between Boeing Field and a private terminal at Portland Airport. Seaport Airlines is transforming travel with convenience, comfort, and free parking just steps from your plane. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is The Lee Johnson Auto family.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the Dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Aaron Judge had the decisive and game-winning home run in the 8th inning yesterday, had a big shot off of Carlos Vargas, and after the game, Darren Wilson was asked if he considered using Munoz in an inning where Judge was going to lead off that frame.
Everybody uses their closer a little bit differently, and I think situation like that, it was Vargy's pocket, and we talked about that, and that's what we were going with. We trust our guys down in that bullpen. Vargy's a guy that's pitched in a lot of big innings for us, a lot of leverage spots, and has really delivered in those situations, so we have faith in all the guys down there.
Makes me laugh every time he says Vargy. Vargy. I think the bigger question was, did you consider walking Judge in that scenario? Even though they had done a tremendous job limiting him throughout that series, the damage, but when it mattered most, he did the damage. So I think you don't want to put the go-ahead run on first with the idea that they're going to potentially drive him in, but he becomes the go-ahead run right there at the plate, as we all learned. So that to me was the more pertinent question, the idea of walking him.
Yeah, I guess I'm just always, I'm not, I don't want to say I'm defensive, but like.
Oh, you are.
When Dan Wilson makes a decision like that, I mean, that's his explanation. Hey, we trust him. We trust him. We're not going to do anything different or out of the ordinary, and that's just the move that we want to make. And if it had struck him out, nobody'd be asking the question.
Sweeping the Dial.
We have this interesting dynamic of Trey Hendrickson, who has been very public about his frustration of not having any contract talks with the Bengals. He's entering the final year of his deal. He's at the Bengals facility, so he's doing the old hold in during OTAs. And then he was talking to reporters about his frustration about not getting a new contract or even discussions about a new contract.
With the lack of communication post-draft, made it evidently clear from my party, meaning my wife, my son, the agent, right? Like, we're talking a small group of people, that I had to inform that this might not work out. And that's unfortunate. I don't think it was necessary. I think we all should have hoped for the best until proven otherwise. But through that, other things have transpired, like the importance of me being here in OTAs doesn't seem to be respected, and I think I've carried a lot of respect. I don't mean to insinuate anything about anyone's character, but that was disappointing. I think that's the word of the offseason. I think we gave it our all under Lou's defense, and we did fall short. And that's about being a man, too, is standing up.
Tell you what, Trey Hendrickson last year he led the league in at least the AFC.
He's had back-to-back years of 17 and a half sacks.
So it's just been... Yeah, he's in the lack of communication part. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, the guy's whining and this and that. No, I mean, remember when Dwayne Brown was up to have his contract redone, and he came out and practiced and everything. And the reason why was because Schneider communicated with him, and he communicates with everyone, and he does it the right way. And it sounds like they're just not doing things the right way in Cincy. I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, I don't really understand what's happening. Plus, there was that quote. Who was it from the owner that said, "Oh, maybe he should just be
the team president."
The president. Yeah. He should just be satisfied with basically
a lower rate.
A lower rate. Yeah, it was a weird comment. Like, really? This is a guy. You're not talking about some back end of the roster guys, barely hanging on. This guy's been remarkably productive. I mean, he's been in Cincinnati for 4 seasons. He's had 14 sacks, 8. He missed a couple games in 22, had 8 sacks, 17 and a half. I mean, double-digit sacks in 3 of the 4 years.
Yeah.
And not 10, 17 and a half each year. It's just...
He's been there 8 years, but, I mean, you look at the first couple, he wasn't...
I've got him in New Orleans.
I'm sorry. He was in New Orleans. But, and he didn't have great sack totals there. 13 and a half his last year. But, yeah, I mean, this is a guy that's a staple on your defense. And I know that they're paying all this money to, the receiver and the quarterback. But, I mean, this is a guy that has just – and he's kind of like one of those hard hat and lunch pail type of players. Like there's nothing fancy about what he does. He works his tail off. Yeah, I'm kind of pissed for him. And a lot of times when I see guys that are, either holding out or they can't get a new contract or whatever, I'm like, whatever. I don't care about it. This is one where I'm like kind of paying attention because he is very underappreciated.
Sweeping the dial.
Rich Eisen was taking a look at the Steelers' schedule, and he believes that the NFL gave the Steelers the schedule they did because they're assuming that Aaron Rodgers is going to be their quarterback.
We're all waiting on a certain Malibu resident to say, I'm going to play football this year. It does appear that the National Football League believes Aaron Rodgers will be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Otherwise, why would they put the Steelers in the home of the New York Jets week one, right off the bat? And then week two, DK Metcalf sees his former team, Sam Darnold, who had an option maybe to go to Pittsburgh, potentially, right there. Week four, you've got Minnesota in London, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pardon me, in Dublin against the Minnesota Vikings and the Steelers, and that is clearly a spot where Rodgers may have wound up. And then so on and so forth. By the way, it's week 8 that the Packers are in Pittsburgh right in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, for him to point out Seattle is the second second spot on the roster or on the schedule. Yeah, DK's there, and then he says, and Sam was an option there. Sam Darnold was an option in Pittsburgh. So there's some connection because his name got brought up. So now the NFL's motivated by the fact that his name was that he was talked about in Pittsburgh. Come on, man, we're stretching that. I don't think they manipulated the schedule to appease Aaron Rodgers or to appease the football gods because they think Aaron Rodgers is going to be big time ratings. This is not a league that's clamoring for ratings or clamoring for attention. They are the kings of all. They don't need to manipulate the Steelers' schedule to increase it by whatever amount they think it would have. I don't know. That's a big stretch. I don't buy it.
Aaron Rodgers is going to find out the hard way that the NFL is going to roll on without you. Even I thought that the NFL, there's no way it would survive without me.
It would crumble without you?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And somehow, look at them.
Somehow they've survived.
They've become a behemoth. And they will continue.
Once they got rid of the crappy players.
That's right.
That's right.
It's been nothing but just ascending since the absence of Dave Wyman.
I think it's going to be tough for Aaron Rodgers. I think it's tough for, if you really love it, which he does, it's going to be hard for him at some point. But I don't know. Do you blame him? I mean, are you mad at Aaron Rodgers because he hasn't made a decision? I'm kind of like...
I mean, I guess it's kind of like that seat license thing. Like, there's a part of me going, dude, if you want to play, you should show the courtesy of the team and let them know, rather than just letting this linger going beyond the draft and still haven't heard. But there's also that part like, well, he's a free agent. He doesn't really owe anybody anything.
Right.
I don't know.
But, I mean, for the team, it would be nice.
Yeah, if he ultimately ends up playing for the Steelers, there'd be a part, if I were a Steelers fan, I'd be like, you couldn't have come to this conclusion maybe a month or two ago?
Yeah.
All right. Coming up, how does Cal Raleigh feel about this team a quarter of the way through the season? We'll check in with the latest edition of the Cal Raleigh Show. That is coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Most of the lists I've seen for the Seahawks, at least in terms of where the league views them, have not been great. What are the encouraging signs?
The encouraging lists are top running backs of 2026 free agent class. Top right tackles in 2026 class. There's Abe Lucas. Top edge rushers in 2026 class. There's Boye Mafe. By position, you know what you see, Salk? A Seahawk. A Seahawk. A Seahawk. A Seahawk.
Every day at 7:45, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the New Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced New Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replacing replenishing volume lost over time, or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the new Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best-kept secret, and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your new skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the new skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus 1 unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, according to 49ers owner Jed York, interested parties have approached his family, quote, probably on a weekly basis to attempt to buy a piece of the 97% of the team the Yorks own. This week, it seems 3 of the parties who approached the York family about buying in came with the right offer. According to a league source, 49ers are working to complete the sale of more than 6% of the team to 3 Bay Area families. Sportico, which first reported the pending sale today, said the sales will be done at a franchise valuation of more than $8.5 billion. If the deal is completed at that number, the valuation would be the largest ever for a sports franchise in a transaction. Meanwhile, taking a look at your baseball scoreboard, finals from the day. Braves beat the Nationals 5-2. It was the Twins shutting out the Orioles in Baltimore. Orioles fall to 15-27. 4-0 the score in that one. Twins come out on top. Reds beat the White Sox 7-1, and it was the Blue Jays falling to the Tampa Bay Rays 8-3.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mariners have the day off. They get back to it tomorrow in San Diego. Game 1 of a 10-game road trip. They've got 3 in San Diego, 3 in Chicago on the south side against the White Sox, and then 4 in Houston against the Astros. So they get the day off today. We've got the Raleigh Show coming your way, the latest edition of that. Just in the interest of full disclosure, this was recorded before Tuesday's game. So our Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer sitting down with Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh.
Wyman pitch to Cal, swinging a drive. Way out of here to right field. Cal Raleigh with a home run.
He's the best catcher in baseball, and he's on Seattle Sports Thursday afternoons all season long on Wyman and Bob. It's the Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
With Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
Right, Cal, a little cooler than it was last week in California, but hey, it's one of the reasons why we like this place. I think today, I don't know how much you look at the calendar and the schedule in these regards, but you guys are at the quarter mark right now. And I'd love to just start out with kind of an evaluation of where you think you are as a group right now.
Yeah, I think we're pretty pleased with where we're at. Obviously, the last 4 games haven't been great, but if you're looking at it through one quarter of the year, I think we're in a pretty good spot. Also looking at, where we've been at with injuries. So, you look at, I feel like we've had the injury bug. We got Rails, Robles, George, Logan. It's just kind of been guys over and over falling. So, based off of that, I think it's been really good.
I would imagine there have been some good, I don't want to say it was a surprise, but to see the amount of offense that you have seen, I mean, when you look back to spring training and what was asked of you as a group, are you checking all the boxes?
I don't think we're trying to check any boxes. I just think we're just trying to, really lean into that identity of, committing to a plan, being a certain type of team. And overall, grand scheme of things so far, it's been really good. We just got to keep hammering it home. I think I've told you this before, but, it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's not about trying to do more, trying to do something different. It's just continuing to lean on, what we've talked about and the identity of who we are and just trying to always consistently be that. So, especially when things aren't going your way, you start, wavering a little bit, just always trying to go back to that identity.
Have you seen that a little bit in a little bit of a rough stretch right now? Are there some reminders that need to go out, or have you guys stuck with what you need to stick with there?
I think that, I don't think anything's really changed in that sense. I think we've still been swinging the bat pretty well. Mm-hmm. I think it doesn't ever hurt to, go back to your kind of core values and your pillars of what it is that who you are as a team and what makes you go. So it always is going to be good to have those reminders and kind of lean back on those. So just got to, get back to it quicker rather than later. So
aside from the obvious, the production and the runs that are up on the board, what does that do for the entire team to see the offense doing what it's done in this first quarter?
Yeah, it builds a lot of confidence, just because, our pitching's been so good in the past, and obviously the issue's always been more on the offensive side. So when you see us scoring runs, and you see us doing little things like that, it's a big boost, especially for our staff, and definitely for the confidence of this team to, we are capable to put up runs, to do things, to do little things the right way, and kind of become that kind of team that we want to be, and to get to where we want to go.
It's been done with some kind of new pieces, some absolute surprises from outside of the organization, some from inside of the organization. Just a little check-in. What have you seen from Ben Williamson in his first, almost a month?
Yeah, Ben, he has a really good approach. I think that's the number one thing I see when I watch Ben. Obviously, he's a really, really good defender over there at third base. He's had some really tough balls. Made some really good plays on some tough plays. As far as, like I said, with the hitting, the approach is really good. He takes his hits. He's able to get those kind of lousy singles that you call, but they're still hits because he's staying inside the ball. And good hitters at the end of the day get jammed, and that's kind of how I see him. And he's a good complete hitter. And it's just going to be up to him to make the adjustments, because at some point, he's going to start getting pitched differently, whether you've seen it yet or not. It's just how the league kind of reacts to you, and they start to learn, and then you have to learn from that, and it's just a constant cat and mouse game. So, but he's doing a really good job, and he's been a good teammate, he's been a good player, and definitely like what I see so far.
What do you remember about that when you went through that? It's like you're kind of swimming along and everything's great, and all of a sudden you walk in one day and you're like, is this a different sport?
Yeah. I didn't come up right away and have that kind of success that he did. So, but yeah, it's tough, even just talking to any of the young guys, just learning to deal with failure, I think, is one of the biggest things that I had to learn. And like you said, you feel like you're in a completely different world. But at the end of the day, you're still playing the same game, but you've just never failed at this level. You never failed maybe this much or this consistently, and it's just hard. It's hard to learn to deal with failure, and especially if you've never done it before, and if you've never gone through those struggles. So trying to help those guys out as much as I can, try to get guys back on the right track and realize that it's just still baseball, and it's just learning how to deal with that and trying to cut the corners quicker.
Did you have kind of the prototypical, you got a little bit of success, and then all of a sudden they started approaching you differently?
Yeah, I remember early on in my big league career, it wasn't terrible first couple games, but then the league quickly figured out high fastballs and lots of spins and changeups, a lot of off-speed pitches. So, I was chasing a lot, wasn't taking my walks, and the league's going to keep exposing you until you make that adjustment. So it's different with every guy, and I think it is also worth noting that these are the best players in the world, that are here. It's not like you're just facing, average Joes out there. You're facing the best in the world, and they're really good at what they do, and they can expose you really quickly. And it's the whole thing. It's the game planning. It's the scouting. It's the the pitchers, the position player, like how good they are at what they do, and it's the big leagues for a reason. So, what's been the key to this team's success? You have lowered the strikeout rate. You in the past have been right there at the top of the bottom of strikeouts, and for good parts, you're in a decent spot right now as a team. There are some good parts of the season where you guys have been pretty far up there in strikeout percentage. What's the key to lowering that as quickly as you have? I think it just comes down to approach, really focusing in with two strikes and where you're trying to hit the ball and what you're trying to do with it. Realizing, we're not trying to pull yank the ball for a home run every single time, even with two strikes. Really just being consistent with the middle of the field. And when you're thinking middle of the field, you're letting the ball get a little deeper. You're not worried about trying to do too much with it. You're focusing that way, and it helps keep you on the spin a little longer and helps you fight off the fastballs as well, and just gives you longer at bats. When you get longer at bats, you get more pitches to hit, and you're able to do that. And like I said, when you have a good approach and you're thinking, middle of the field, then you can get those kind of lousy singles. You can get those, put more balls in play and punch out less. So.
Do you keep track of lousy singles? Is there a stat for that for you?
No, I mean, there's no stat, but I mean, you just see like all the good teams. They're
important.
You look at the end of the day and you're like, oh, that was just a crappy hit. But at the end of the day, that's how those things add up, and those kind of hits and singles and at bats add up over time. And that's what good teams do. And obviously, you're gonna have your home runs, you're gonna have your big doubles, like big knocks, like. Those are bound to happen always, but I think the biggest thing this year is how many, those singles that just get over their head, or we're able to put this ball in play and move a runner, like, instead of taking that strikeout. So it's those little things that go a long way, and those are the things that win ball games. It's not always the sexy, 3-run homer, so.
You kind of need everybody doing that, I would imagine. It's hard to commit to it if everybody else isn't.
Yeah, it's a team-wide approach.
Yeah.
So, it's just nice because every single day it's the same approach. It's consistently the same message, and you're doing the same thing every day, and you're not constantly trying to chase a bunch of different rabbits or whatever it is. But you're not trying to go different ways. You're not changing every day.
Yeah.
You're not going one day where you're trying to go this way or you're trying to go this way as far as like approach wise, parts of the field. Or you're trying to change yourself every single day. If you just consistently be that same guy and have that simple thought, then you can become a more consistent player.
Somebody helping with that? I mean, because I know that for hitters, like, change can be the worst thing. You don't want to always be tinkering and always making big changes. Is somebody kind of really keeping an eye on that or regulating that, or is...
Yeah, well, I mean, you are who you are, right? I mean, you want to play into your strengths and you want to stay away from your weaknesses, and you want to consistently be the same guy every single day so that, when push comes to shove, you're going to be in the place that you want to be at the end of the year. So, like I said, if you're constantly changing, constantly doing new things, you're not going to be ready for that one thing when you get in the game. If I'm constantly I'm switching, constantly trying to hit the ball the other way and trying to pull it middle, constantly, chasing different rabbits, then I'm never going to be able to consistently hit the pitch that I want to hit, and I'm not going to be able to have that kind of trust and that approach that I have.
How do Edgar, Seitzer, Bobby work together? If you're going into the cage, what does that look like, or before you get to the cage, or out on the field?
Yeah, I mean, they've been great, just always being there, and I think a great thing is they're not constantly trying to tinker. They're not constantly trying to find things wrong with you. They're not constantly changing, kind of what we were just talking about. They're not constantly changing the approach, changing what you do every single day. Obviously, if you're struggling, like, you can talk and maybe find a drill or two, but it's not every day. It's not, come in, find it. It's like consistently doing your prep, consistently working on your approach, and just hammering it home every single day. Even if, guys maybe do want to start to stray, they bring you back in, like, no, hey, you're good at this. You've been really good. Your swings look great. Like, there's no need to change. And sometimes the best coaching is not coaching, not trying to do too much and not trying to overdo it. And I think they've done a great job of just really hammering that stuff home, being consistent, and really just keeping it simple. And at the end of the day, it is a simple game. So.
Have you had, and I had this moment in reporting, believe it or not, but Edgar Martinez is just so far up there. Has he ever like, hey, you can do it, Cal, and you felt good about it? I mean, is there something about having him in your corner?
Yeah, I mean, he always has confidence in us, and I don't know how to describe it. When talking to him, you feel this kind of like ease that comes over you. You have this belief in yourself because he believes. I think he believes in a lot of us more than we believe in ourselves sometimes. So, but it's nice too because him and Seitz especially, they know how hard it is, and they know how tough of a game it is, but it's crazy, like the more consistent you can be with your approach and more consistent you can. I keep saying that we're consistent, but the more consistent you can do that, and I think that's what I've really learned from Edgar and these guys is like. Just consistently being the same guy, like, you're going to be good. You're going to be where you want to be. But it's whenever you start changing, start going different ways, or you start straying off the path, it's like, no, just stay on the path, trust the path, and you'll be where you want to be at the end of the day. And, I think that's kind of what our team has done a good job of this year so far.
I think we see it every day and up and down the lineup. It's a lot of fun to watch. Not necessarily being himself, but did you see Leo Ribas in the catching gear yesterday?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Where at? He was out here doing it?
Yes.
Oh. Jeez. I saw him in the locker room the other day. I didn't know he was out here.
Yeah, no.
Did he catch a bullpen?
I think he did catch a bullpen.
Machine?
Yes, and then he came in. I think there was some bullpen catching going on.
It's the smallest catcher in the big leagues.
You're going to have to give us a review if you see it. But, I mean, I don't,
Just in case. Hopefully it never comes to that. But
All right, the last one. I don't know if you understand how big of a weekend we have coming up. San Diego, the official first Vetter Cup, the start of the Vetter Cup. Surely they've shown you the video and imparted the just importance of this entire thing on you.
the Vetter Cup?
Okay. So this might be up to you to do some research and tell your teammates, because it's really big. We'll start. Do you know who Eddie Vedder is?
I don't.
Oh my gosh, help. You know who Pearl Jam is?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Eddie Vedder is the lead singer of Pearl Jam. I'm sure you've got all of his.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard about this before.
Okay. Yes. And he is from San Diego. Mike McCready, guitar player,
Yes.
played the anthem here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Guitarist for Pearl Jam. Been an unofficial when the Padres and the Mariners meet. That originally came into play when there was interleague play was first introduced, and everybody had to have a natural rival. So naturally, it was the Mariners and the Padres, because I know you hate the Padres. I mean, I know that hatred just runs deep in you.
Yeah.
But that was it, and a lot of the fans, it just kind of somehow became the Vetter Cup.
Okay.
And we would joke about it, and then we'd sometimes call it that on the broadcast, because Pearl Jam broke through here. Vetter is from San Diego.
Right.
He's a Cubs fan. I don't know how that fits into any of this. He is a famous Cubs fan. But it is now official. There is a trophy.
Really?
6 games. Mariners, Padres, first official Vetter Cup.
So what happens if we go 3-3?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. It would first be determined by run differential.
Ah, that's
Now, if that is tied, then it is in honor of Eddie Vedder, exit velocity. So you're going to need to hit the ball extra hard.
This is a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, right up until you have that trophy in your hands, Cal. Right until you bring that back. Actually, it'll be determined here, because the final 3 games in Seattle. So I don't want to put anything extra on you down in San Diego. I mean, I know, but
The Vetter
just,
Cup.
there's a little extra on that series. So I just hope that you and everybody else are well prepared for it.
I did see that it was rivalry weekend.
Yes, so,
coming up,
yes,
so.
San Diego, just, fish tacos, why?
Yeah, they are like our spring training
complex mates.
complex.
Yeah.
I guess
Probably
see
pretty
that.
messy. I don't, just, they leave the field. I don't know, but yes, so just keep that in
Interesting.
mind this
Vetter
week.
Cup.
Important stuff, the Vetter Cup. Okay.
I'll have to
Tell a
check
friend.
Check out
Tell
that
a friend.
trophy, I guess.
It's a guitar. Logan's going to
Oh.
want it. All right.
It's not even a trophy.
So that's all we've got for you, thankfully, Cal. Thank you.
No, thank you.
There you go. Cal sounding fired up about the Vetter Cup, didn't he?
Utter nonsense. I think he summed it up.
I think
Utter nonsense.
He has no idea who Eddie Vedder is.
Well, he knew Pearl Jam.
Yeah. Yeah, he
He
knows
was
McCready
probably-
because McCready plays the anthem at T-Mobile quite often.
We've had him on our show.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good dude, great
dude.
guitar player. He couldn't have seemed less enthused about the Vetter Cup. He's like, all right.
Yeah. It was kind of like when he hit that game-winning home run.
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
got him in the playoffs.
I don't know what would get Cal
to go like
visually
really?
fired up. Like, yeah, just to wait. His voice goes up an octave or so.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the eyes open. What would cause him to do that? Because to this point, I haven't seen it.
Maybe a cat.
Yeah.
Maybe a cat jumping 5 feet in the air.
That might be it. I don't know.
Maybe.
Wouldn't you love to see like him go to the doctor and just get his blood pressure taken? Like, is it super low?
Yeah.
Is he one of those guys who are like, you need to.
We're not
your
getting
blood pressure's too
a
low.
reading.
Are you still with us? Are you okay? How many fingers am I holding up? All right. If you missed any part of that or any part of the show for that matter, you just want to go watch things over again, you can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can also search for Seattle Sports on all social media platforms to find segments like our conversations with Seahawks players, Mariner players, all the good stuff happening on this show is out there, whether it's Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads, whatever it is, we're on there. So just search Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports. It's all there for you, and the YouTube channel is there for you as well. Quickly before the break, one thing Cal mentioned about, we mentioned this as well because it's always when you see a rookie come up, young player come up, pitcher, position player, and they're having immediate success, it's always guarded enthusiasm for me. I'm always looking at it going, that's great. How do they perform once the league knows them, once the tape's out, once the league adjusts to them? How do they readjust? And they talked about Williamson. He's cooled off a little bit. He's cooled off in the Yankee series. He was 1 for 11. He's 9 for 44 in the month of May, hitting .205 with a .250 on base, .455 slug. It's we'll see what happens with him, but it was fairly predictable, don't you think, to see a young guy come up? Nobody knows what he does well, where the hot and cold zone on his swing. Mm-hmm. That stuff gets around, and the league responds accordingly. And now the chess match starts, and we see what's his move. How does he adjust back? So it's worth any young player. Always fascinated by early success and see, all right, how do they sustain it once the book is out, so to speak?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like just in general, the coaching is much better. I loved what Cal said about Edgar. He's like, when he talks to you, like an ease sort of comes over you. Like both him and Seitzer, and they know how hard it is. And so just the way that, and maybe that'll help Ben Williamson,
Yeah.
Kind of speed through that part, because you're right. I mean, it's at some point you come out, you're pretty hot, and all of a sudden, the league is going to figure you out. 234 average right now. I mean, playing, third base. I mean, if he had some timely hits, you'd be okay with 235. He's got good defense, and
you need production out of that spot, because you're not really getting it out. First and third are your production spots typically, and you're not really getting it out of either spot.
No.
So, play great defense. That'll buy you time to get the bat going there.
Right.
But we'll see how he responds. The Cal Raleigh Show is presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. Meanwhile, can the oldest coach in the NFL reinvent himself this season? We'll get into that one next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
A quick question / maybe unpopular take.
Yes.
I totally understand graduation gifts in high school.
Okay.
Here's $100. Here's this. Here's that. Like graduation gifts in college.
Why not? Almost more so. I think that would make sense.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you talked about setting someone up for the rest of their life. For the most part, you're going off for high school.
I mean, they've done
kids.
that with their degree. Like, God bless them. You think it's appropriate, like, collegiate graduation gift?
Because then you're actually, like, going out to start a real life.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Since time immemorial, the Puyallup Tribe of Indians have lived on what is now called Puget Sound. The Puyallup Tribe is a sovereign nation of more than 6,000 members and one of the largest employers in Pierce County. Today, the Puyallup Tribe continues to serve its members and community with generosity and is committed to building a sustainable way of life for future generations. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Good credit, bad credit, no credit. Jet City Harley is accepting all credit applications. Bank reps on speed dial to help get you approved. Bankruptcy, divorce, even repos. Let Jet City Harley Davidson get you financed on a new Harley today. Visit JetCityHarley.com.
On approved credit.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimer.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat Compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Hey. We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
In case you're just tuning in, you missed the Raleigh Show. The latest episode of that will be available on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture, click on that, and it'll be right there waiting for you along with anything else you missed. And again, the easy way out of all of that is just to click subscribe. It's free. It's easy. You click it, and it just shows up for you. It's beautiful. Like a present every day, Dave. How would you like to have a gift every day handed to you?
Yeah,
wouldn't that be fun?
I won't be doing that.
No, you won't be
So.
subscribing.
Well, I'm here. You know.
Yeah,
I'm here during the show.
You don't go home and review the tape?
Not really. No, I can't stand listening to myself.
You don't like it?
No.
I can't stand listening to Dave either.
Yeah, that just, you know he did that.
I knew that was coming.
That opened up a flood of text.
I knew that
You know
was coming.
what's surprising is that Matt was even paying attention to what I was saying. I thought he pretty much just blocked me out. Dave's voice shut down.
I have to pay attention at the start of the segment and the end of the segment. You'll lose me in about 30 seconds.
Everything in between.
I look forward
Who knows? Well, tomorrow should be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Your producer's going to ignore the whole show. Yeah. That's going to be great.
It's going to be tough.
Maybe he'll be nice to Moyer.
Yeah.
I'll make it nice to
let's
Paul.
make it the Paul Moyer show. How about that?
Ooh,
by the way, how
there's an
about
idea.
Paul going, I actually like Matt. Like he was
Don't hold that against him, folks. He's still a good guy.
The way he said it, like, yeah, I'm the outlier. You guys all hate. I actually like him.
You shouldn't.
Oh, so good. All right. Well, we heard from Pete Carroll earlier in the show, played a couple of clips. He's going to be obviously the head coach of those Las Vegas Raiders, and he's going to be going up against the Seahawks in preseason football. Seahawks versus the Raiders. That one's here, right? I don't have the schedule in front of me.
I believe it is.
That one's here, right?
Yeah,
Lefko?
he's coming home.
Raiders are here?
Yeah.
Yeah. That should be fun. I'm just excited to see Pete and hear from him. But he talked about, in that conversation with Brock and Salk, just talked about what it is he learned from watching and not coaching football last year.
Yeah, well, there's a million things, but you know, watching high school football, and you know, they're running the same plays, you know, for the most part, and the defenses are playing the same kind of defenses, and they let the same kind of plays kick your butt on all levels, you know, and we don't need to let that happen. It doesn't have to happen like that. And so, as basic as that may sound, you know, when you get in shotgun, you hand the ball off, Brock, and as your teams are going to do, and everybody on the defensive side knows when the guys on this side of the formation, the ball's going the other way, basically, and it still keeps working. Well, something's wrong with that, you know. And I like I'm telling you, I saw it in JV football, and I saw it, you know, played in the NFL all the way to the last game of the year. And so there's things that we have to do differently to not let that happen through awareness and scheme and principle and the way we play blocks and stuff. And so that's just one example. There's a million of them.
Yeah, I like that. Of course, he's a defensive-minded coach. Mm-hmm. So he's talking about the defenses not being able to read.
I like that he's looking at it at the high school level. It's a problem. It's a problem. Those plays keep working.
Yeah.
That had to be hard for him to sit out. I mean, he's been a coach for so long. He's been involved in the game for so long that, you know, maybe it was refreshed. Maybe it recharged the batteries to an extent. Not saying he certainly didn't act burned out by any stretch, but.
Well, I mean, I think Pete is going to make it. It's going to be advantageous and for him, and he is going to make it into something good. That's just what he does. It's like, oh, yeah, it was great. A good chance to get away and get some perspective. And, I mean, that's the one thing, and like you hear this in the military, that you can't refuse to accept the situation. Mm-hmm. I feel like Pete is the best at that. Like, whatever life gives him, he is just going to – he's going to accept it.
And
I mean,
figure it out.
I'll sit there and grumble over it for 2 days or whatever, but Pete is just always like, okay. I mean, and he's all about, you know, change and, you know, trying to figure out different ways of doing things. But I'm sure that he, like, made it into a positive no matter what. That's the cool thing about him. And you talk about coaches that, you know, we just heard from Cal. He was talking about how Edgar, you know, when you talk to him, there's like an ease that comes over you. Like, it's kind of the opposite, but equally effective, that when you talk to Pete, like, you get fired up.
And you talked about what it would have been like had he been in your home recruiting you.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I don't know how you'd say no to the guy.
Yeah. I would have gone to USC.
Yeah. I mean, if he were coming from some, you know, rinky-dink school that didn't have a football history, yeah, maybe that's different. But he's there representing one of the big-time programs. I just don't know how a kid says no to him.
I know.
He probably made every kid feel like you are going to be a superstar. We are going to feature you. It's going to be the best thing that's ever happened in your life. I can't wait. I've got so much love for what you do, and I'm fired up to see you out there competing like crazy. And just you're like, all right, let's go. Where do I sign?
Yeah, exactly. So, and look, I think that a lot of people might think that, well, that's corny for at this age, but no, football players love it, man.
Well, you talked about this a million times. They'll sniff out a fraud. They'll sniff out somebody who's up there putting on an act or saying this just to get a reaction. He's genuine. Whether you like it, you don't like it, you think he's corny, you think he's funny, whatever your opinion is of Pete, And that's the most common question I ever received about Pete through his entire time here, whether I was talking to friends or doing interviews on stations in other cities. Like, all right, so give me the truth. Pete Carroll, what's he really like? I'm like, dude, I'm not going to pretend I'm friends with him when we hang out, but I'm going to tell you, if that's an act, it's the most consistent act I've ever seen, because that is how he is all of the time. The end. Right. I don't know who he is behind closed doors. I don't know that guy, but I'm assuming it's very much that guy. That is just who he is, and I think that's why players respond, because he's genuine. And I think he makes them laugh with some of the stuff. They think he's a little goofy, but in an endearing way.
I asked a question of him on a conference call one time that I could tell pissed him off. Mm-hmm. And it was something about, him being in on the defense. And he didn't, I think it was when Ken Norton was here, and he didn't want people to think that, it was his defense. He is, meddling or whatever. And I have seen that side of him, but look, that was something that irritated him, and he's allowed to get pissed off every once in a while. Yeah, because he's always, so positive, and it was just a question. I didn't realize that it was like charged or whatever, but he's good about it. I mean, but like when you talk to Pete, that was the other thing about him, and this is where the coaching part of it comes in. It was like you're the only guy in the world. Yeah, and he would spend like 10 minutes with you and just not ever like look around or anything like that. He was just amazingly dialed in.
Quickly before the break, what do you think ultimately led to the end? Was it just
what's that?
His time here in Seattle.
Yeah, I think that they were just trying to go a different way, and I think that there was probably some philosophical differences. And I think also the trust between the ownership and John Schneider, was a little bit more strengthened. And, I think that they just decided to go that way rather than the other.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, like it's a zero-sum game, like either pick Pete or John, but I think that, I think ownership probably heard more things that they wanted to hear from John Schneider than Pete Carroll. I don't mean to pit them against each other because they're still friends and all that. You can tell, but somebody had to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Lefko's asking the question, do you think it was like loyalty to coaches? And I'm wondering about that because a lot of the defensive coordinator hires just didn't pan out the way whether it was Ken Norton, whether it was Clint, whether it was Chris Richard, you can go down the list of guys,
Yeah, he's had the same linebacker coach with him since 2010, John Glenn.
Yeah, and there were some issues. It wasn't just a one-year down year for the defense was trending the wrong direction for a number of years.
And that was his thing.
Yeah.
And so I thought remember at the end when we were having these discussions, I thought he stepped away from the defense too far.
Yeah.
And look, I love him that he wanted to develop younger coaches and get them coaching jobs. A lot of coaches, head coaches will get possessive of their coaches. I don't want anybody, picking this guy up and, but he wanted everybody to have success, and you got to love that about him.
All right. Coming up, we learned that this show will make history tomorrow. Ooh. Can't wait to hear this. What we learned coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk and Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How are you?
I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
It's time to make your yard the best on the block with Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot. Start by keeping the weeds at bay with Earthgrow Mulch, now 4 for $10. Then keep your garden thriving with Miracle Grow Garden Soil, now on special buy, 4 for $10. Give your neighbors yard envy all summer long with Memorial Day savings going on now at the Home Depot.
I'm Sia, and I support Humane World for Animals. Together, we have created a new version of Peter Gabriel's beautiful song, Salisbury Hill, to celebrate Humane World for Animals and everything they do. Enjoy the song and join us in helping Humane World for Animals end animal cruelty.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you gotta look at it in a new way. Like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news. This August, luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
One of the greatest bands in rock history, The Who, present The Song Is Over, the North American Farewell Tour. See Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, The Who, performing at Climate Pledge Arena September 25th. Pre-sale for City Card members begins Tuesday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. The Who, for the very last time. The song is over. For more, visit thewho.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
This is a house of learned doctors.
What you just said
is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What did we learn today?
No one's a bigger idiot than me.
Stupidity is the easiest way out.
The show tomorrow is going to make history. For those wondering about the show tomorrow, it's going to be Dave Wyman and Paul Moyer. I'm off tomorrow. Lefko's off tomorrow. Matt Nelson could not be. He is bubbling with excitement over the idea of producing tomorrow's show.
He's also texting in to the show.
Mean texts already.
Mean texts.
How about Moyer, by the way? Ready to go with his own What's Buggin' Bob?
Yeah.
He's ready.
He's bringing it back. He's bringing back a segment we don't even do anymore.
He's like, I got defunct segments I'm bringing back.
Now it's What's Bugging Paul.
He's more familiar with the show than I am. Yeah, I see that Matt's texting in. Somebody texted in, I can't stand looking at Dave.
Yeah, where does that come from? Just one line, not in connection to anything that we were talking about. I
told him, look away. That's what I say to my wife sometimes, when there's about to be a bad naked scene.
Naked.
Look away. Look away.
You like Kramer when he looked at the show. Look away. I'm hideous. After he'd been smoking.
I think that was from Bridesmaids. Remember where
when she's in the sink. Yeah. That was Kramer, too. Remember he had smoked. He turned his apartment into the smoking club, and his teeth were all just... Look away, Jerry. I'm hideous. All right. Are you going to save that one? Or
No, I was going to say, you guys set it up nicely, so we can just get right to it.
All right.
Yeah, this is the history. It's going to be made tomorrow.
I got to psych myself up to spend 3.5 hours with Dave. It's been a while. Tomorrow, but
you're going to be carrying the load, Paul.
He's gonna make you do updates. He's gonna make you bring it in and out of breaks. It's gonna be a fun day for you.
Paul's a radio man. He knows what to do.
Yeah. Been there, done that. Though I like when other people bring us in and out of breaks better than me doing it. So that's good.
All right. Well, that's for people that don't know what we're talking about. I'm off tomorrow. Lefko's off tomorrow. We're not off together. We're doing separate things. But Paul Moyer will be in here filling in, and Matt Nelson producing the show, which I know Dave is super excited about. You're going to have fun watching Dave and Matt go back and forth at each other, Paul.
Don't tell people that. No one's going to listen.
I actually like Matt, so we'll be okay.
Paul has never been a good judge of character. That's his one flaw.
Fair.
I like how he said it. I actually like Matt. Like
Matt.
He's the outlier.
That's right. So many things there. One is that Bob wanted to make sure that everybody knew that they're not vacationing together.
That's right.
Lefko and Bob.
Lefko and I are going to be off tomorrow.
That was very important to get that in.
If I say
both off, not together.
We're both taking a day off tomorrow. I was like, oh, where are you guys going?
Yeah. I just want to make sure.
We aren't going anywhere.
I have better things to do than hang out with Lefko, is what Bob is saying.
Look, Monday through Friday is enough. That's enough. We're fine.
You'd have to get paid for that, and since you're off.
Yeah.
Why waste vacation?
Somebody would have to pay him to hang out with Lefko.
So Matt's going to be here, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Yeah. We're gonna knock it out of the park, right, Matt? You know what that means? You know that means
great.
A good thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Awesome.
It's good.
I might tune in to hear you try to send it to a hard out at the end of the
it's going to be early.
It's got to be on time. That's the point.
Well, as we learned, that's happened before recently.
I see how Bob likes to sort of teeter on the edge there. You never know if he's going to get it in or not. And not me.
You may actually miss it.
Done whenever.
Yeah. I don't care if they have to play bumper music for 60 seconds. I had a bad experience with that a long time ago.
Was that the hello?
No, that was opening the show.
This was Calabro days, and I actually did a show, like an entire show with, the producer that was there. No, well, I had some help, but anyway, we got to the hard out, and then I was like, I had it all ready, and I was, ready to go, and I started talking, and then all of a sudden it was like 5 seconds, and I'm like, okay, welcome.
Welcome.
I said the last word was welcome.
So you ended the show with welcome. You opened it with hello?
Like, it's in my head. It's in my head. Well,
I may have to tune in tomorrow.
Siraj didn't turn on, and I'm not blaming everything on Siraj, but he did not turn something up or whatever, and so I was like, there was no sound. I was like, and I spoke into the microphone, nothing, and then I was like, hello? And so that got broadcast. So that was the start of the show. So here's what we're going to get tomorrow. We're going to start the show with hello, and then in a questioning way. And then at the end, there's going to be about 30 seconds of bumper music.
You guys are in for a treat tomorrow.
Yeah.
By God. Have long bumpers ready, Matt, for the end of the show.
Not only that, it's also Mean Text Friday.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be good.
There'll be some good ones.
Maybe Lefko and I will send in some mean text.
Not together, though.
From separate places. From separate places.
Everybody
you beat me
to
to it. All right, what else did we learn?
Well, we learned that NFL schedules have come a long way since Wyman used to get his inscribed on a stone tablet.
When I was playing, I ever remember looking at the schedule. I mean,
You didn't have it circled on your calendar? It gets released tomorrow.
No. I mean, I don't even know when they did it. You know, you would get to camp maybe, and they'd have the schedule in the front of your playbook maybe. I don't remember it, but yeah, it's a huge deal. By the way, I was sitting here just like you were, just cracking up about the Indianapolis Colts should not have taken that down. That is
I think it's hilarious,
man.
Yeah,
they got a Coast Guard boat. That's
a picture of a dolphin wearing a number 10 jersey labeled Hill, swimming along before he's stopped by a Coast Guard boat with a blaring siren.
I love that. I love that.
So good.
That I did not see that one. Again, my favorite that I've seen so far is well, I guess we're not going to see it. They pulled out. There's probably some website where you can find it, right?
I would think. Did you see it, Lefko?
So.
Yeah,
the Dolphins one.
It's
Somebody
in
copied
the dark regions of Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
nether
description's
The nether
hilarious.
regions of Twitter.
I love the description. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, but I thought the Saints one was really good. Yeah, they had like a office linebacker type of coach standing back there, and he was, criticizing any questions that came from the media or whatever. That's a good one. What'd you think of the Seahawks?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see the little toys and whatnot?
Well,
the powdered soap, I think. Remember that? Anybody
soap.
remember powdered soap, where you go into the bathroom and you would click that handle and a pile of powder would fall into your hand?
I don't know if I've had that.
If you want to call me old right now, that's fine.
Powdered soap.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
It was awful.
Bob's all about soap, too. So
I know my soap.
He knows his soap,
I don't
Dave.
think I've had powdered soap.
He's a man of soap, Dave.
That's right.
Yes, he is.
That's right. All right. Anything else?
Left goes on fire.
That's it?
Left goes on fire. We should keep going.
Well, we can't.
All right.
We got stuff to do.
All right, you guys are going to vacation separately.
That is very separately. Yeah. Very much separate.
Very
That's
much
exactly right. Meanwhile, your guest host tomorrow will be Paul Moyer, but he's got plenty of thoughts he'd like to share now about the Seahawks schedule, the Mariners, and just how he's going to go about his business. You're going to hear that conversation coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk and Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Since time immemorial, the Puyallup tribe of Indians have lived on what is now called Puget Sound. The Puyallup tribe is a sovereign nation of more than 6,000 members and one of the largest employers in Pierce County. Today, the Puyallup tribe continues to serve its members and community with generosity and is committed to building a sustainable way of life for future generations. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates demonstrates honesty and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey 12, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity, internet, and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This is the moment many wait for.
The most entertaining.
A man of wisdom. A man of experience, Dave.
The most informative.
To bring light to a dark subject. To bring positivity to a negative world.
The incredible Paul Moyer.
Moyer out. He's here, everybody.
Yeah, you're going to be tired of this guy by tomorrow. I'll tell you that much.
Or you will be, too. I think the listeners will be just fine with this guy who joins us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. He's a man of experience, Dave. He's Paul Moyer. How are you, man?
Happy to be here, and